Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Tanner. Hello, Ben, and indeed everybody. How you all doing?
How you all doing, mate? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to shine a light on that.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to shine a light on that.
Yeah.
Should have just moved on like a professional, but I didn't. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Hello and welcome. Here we are. How's it going?
Yeah, back again. A little bit sooner than last time after a late one last week. So, yeah, a little relief for everyone who suffered through my really long what I've watched in the last week. It's a little bit shorter this time round.
I hope it's a
Yeah,
little
I'm
bit
good.
shorter. If it's the same length, I'd be incredibly surprised. I'd be like,
What are you
what?
getting done in the day? Watching bloody movies all the time? No, far less.
When I did that intro, then I had a really weird moment, probably the first time ever, where I became really aware of myself. Like almost I was floating above myself, going, "What, doing a podcast, are you? What's going on there?" Astral projecting.
Oh, you Doctor Strange in it.
Doctor Strange in it. Astral project. Well, new Insidious is out this week, so maybe that's why. Astral projection. That's major.
It. Close
major
your eyes
plot
for a
point on
second.
that.
You'll be out your body. There'll be horrible ghosties trying to get in there, take it over, make you into an old woman.
Don't go too far away from your body. Remember.
Don't.
How's it going now? Are you all good? Are you all you all recovered after all of the spider discussion last week? Now you got something else to be scared of.
Yeah. Now I can be scared of the infectious illness.
Any sort of infectious illness, but just wash your hands more regularly. I know it's 2023 now.
I know.
But still carry on doing
weeks
it.
later in a post-COVID world is a strange feeling, isn't it? We'll get into it.
Yeah, it is weird because it is almost like it. I remember seeing it for the first time. It feels so far removed of like what reality would be, and obviously a rage-fueled blood virus is very, very different to COVID-19. However, like seeing some similarities, sorry, it's kind of crazy. But also like thinking it brought up so many different thoughts for me, like Jesus Christ, the UK literally had loads of refugees and had to go to like other countries. They talk about going to Spain like as refugees and stuff. It's kind of crazy to think of that.
Yeah, it's a wild film. I wonder how. Well, I'll tell you a bit later how my feelings have changed over the years since I last watched it. But I think I've identified with different characters this time round. Obviously, I was much younger when I saw them. I was like, was I like one of the little refugees coming in now? These days, feel like I'm Idris Elba. Like, yeah, to be fair, you want to contain it, burn them all.
It's another one though where Idris Elba turns up. I think we've had that a few times on this show where Idris Elba turns up and we kind of forget that he is in that. It's sort of prior to him becoming a huge household name. He's just one character in, and there's many sort of household names in this film. Maybe slightly before they became household names.
He's looking young, isn't he? No salt in that salt and pepper hair. He's like his hair's like
we're talking about Idris.
The darkest shade. He's like not an ounce of grey on him.
Just for men. Yeah, and I think we discussed before. I think the last time we discussed this, actually, the only time we've discussed this, was on our episode covering the Rage Carry 2 with Kim, where we discussed the possibility of Begbie being infected with the Rage virus, and we can discuss that more now. We've actually seen the actor who plays Begbie infected with the Rage virus.
Oh, I tell you what, he's ever so cross, isn't he?
Not only is ever so cross, they've done this thing, and you kind of think it wouldn't necessarily work in a film like this because, well, they've got a zombie, and obviously they've done it in Day of the Dead, where there's a zombie with a bit of cognitive awareness.
I feel like he's become Nemesis from Resident Evil.
He has become Nemesis. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of crazy. I don't know how I feel about it. Usually I feel like with a film like Day of the Dead, you can kind of understand it because I wouldn't say it's played for laughs as such, but it is a bit of a sort of black comedy take on a zombie regaining some level of consciousness. And we've seen it in various forms in other zombie films and zombie TV shows as well. But this is kind of crazy because I kind of thought, well, why? Why would that happen? It doesn't make sense.
Favorite example is Land of the Dead, but in this one, well, we'll come to it, but Robert Carlyle's character, the only thing that seems to be able to reach him is if someone says, "Oi!" a bit like his wife used to at some point. It makes him pause a second.
He has a flashback. He has a flashback.
That's how my wife used to tell me off.
oh bloody, my wife's always telling me up, yap, nag, 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 and he just has a flashback to it, PTSD. Whoa,
Makes him kind of stop. Oh shit, what have I done? But then you're,
actually, yeah.
I'm a monster now.
He's
I need to be.
absolutely devastated, and he's quite a complex character. I think on the surface, it could go one of two ways, but I think he is quite a complex character, and yeah,
We'll discuss this when we get into the film, Ben. We'll come back to it. Maybe we'll circle back to this at the end of the movie, and we'll talk about whose fault is the entirety of 28
I think that's kind of like what we need to do, because there is, in 28 days later, we'd think about it being somebody's fault, because obviously there are not climate activists, sorry, like animal rights activists.
Just let people experiment on animals on peace. I don't think that, everybody. I don't think you should experiment on animals, but
yeah, exactly. Like, you're almost like, whose fault is it? And you're like, if the animal activists hadn't have freed those monkeys, they would have got out eventually anyway, right? Is that what we're supposed to think? Surely that we're not supposed to think.
I think they've got to be careful, but I guess the fault is the person went, shall we invent a rage virus?
What do you think about this rage virus, right? It's transferred by saliva and blood, makes people go off their nut crazy, angry, violent. Oh yeah, is it? Can you control it in any way? Not at all. Not at all. It's nuts. Sounds like a right.
Stick it in them monkeys then, as a minimum.
Stick it in those monkeys who already have the ability to rip your face off at any given moment.
Yeah, I think chimpanzees, they strike me, especially caged chimpanzees, as being quite rage fueled already.
Yeah, it's just adding fuel to the fire, right? Yeah. It is like adding fuel to the fire. It's like adding a rage virus to Robert Carlyle in any sense. He's gonna
so ultimately
go
it's whoever signed off on that. It's whoever signed off on that idea. Probably bloody.
Yeah, we need to find out. There is like a graphic novel that I probably should have taken a look at just before. I do have it, which is a bit of like a kind of prequel to the rage virus.
What's it called? Is it like 28 weeks before?
I think
28 days earlier.
I don't remember what it's called. It's called 28 Days Later, and it's got like a subtitle. Or
okay,
I'll try and work out what it's called. But that's pretty cool. And there's a lot of special features on the original DVD/Blu-ray. Because the first time I ever saw anything about 28 Days Later was like a Channel 4 featurette that was on before the film was released, and I would like to go back to that and watch it. Actually,
is that little featurette with like Danny Boyle? I'll tell you, we had to get up ever so early to see abandoned London.
He's got tiny little eyes beneath his specs. He's like, I'm absolutely hanging. I am. It's absolutely terrible.
Cillian Murphy have to get up super early and just mill about with all the litter in London. Hello.
Well, this is mill about with the litter. This is an interesting time to be discussing the 28 Days Later sequel, because recently 28 Days Later turned 20 years old. I think it was 20 years old that it was released in the US, so a little bit earlier for the UK. That's interesting, but also, lovely segue here, 28 years later is being discussed. So I think as a sequel, 28 months later was always the title that everybody had on the tip of their tongues when talking about the long-awaited sequel to this, because obviously it's been another 16 years, only 5 years between, or 6 years, 5 or 6 years between 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. Now it's been a lot longer, but it's difficult to do, I think, because in terms of it's not like a traditional zombie film where the zombies kind of stick around forever. We find out at the start of this film that they're gone. They die of starvation within 5 weeks. So 28 years later, you're assuming everything's got back to bloody normal, isn't it?
Yeah, unless there's just been a drip feed of, okay, they've almost, someone new's been infected.
Yeah, but unless it's someone who's like asymptomatic, like we get in this film. Okay, but in terms of the piece of news, the reason it's gathering some more momentum, so I guess this is the first piece of horror news I've got. A few years ago, Alex Garland said a few years ago, an idea materialized in my head for what would be 28 years later. Danny always liked the idea, Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle said, so we're talking about it quite seriously, quite diligently. If he doesn't want to direct it himself, so obviously Alex Garland directs things himself as well, I'll be well up for it if we can execute a similarly good idea. So yeah, that could be cool. I guess with either filmmaker, it could be interesting because Alex Garland's got a very distinct style. Danny Boyle, you wouldn't necessarily say his style was what is seen in 28 Days Later, but I think it's recreated I think it's recreated quite well visually in this film. I think a lot of the same cinematography is used. There's some weird stuff that I don't particularly like, but I guess we'll talk about that. But also, Cillian Murphy is like massive megastar now, off the back of obviously thing. I mean, always a great actor. Always when you saw him pop up in things, you were like, I'm glad to see him. I know this is going to be good. But since Peaky Blinders and now Oppenheimer, he's like one of the big guys, one of the big guns.
Quiet Place: Leggy Venoms Part 2.
Oh yeah, he was in that as well, wasn't he? Yeah, sorry, Cillian. He was in that as well, and obviously a lovely Scarecrow. But yeah, so 20. I personally, I think 28 months later. I mean, because think of the scope of 28 years later. It's kind of crazy. It'll be just like a completely different world. You're assuming everything's gone back to normal, but there will be some level of outbreak. But then would that just be too similar to the first film? The fact that we've gone from a huge sort of population to suddenly being infected by rage. But I guess we never saw much of what the first 28 days looked like, did we?
No, we just sort of hear it all.
Yeah,
hear it all happening. I mean, we'll come to it, I'm sure. But 28 days later strikes me as another thing that you could do an excellent little anthology with. You know, and to a degree, 28 weeks later, with it feeling like a greatest hits, you get some things which are tied together well enough in this one, but equally could have been just standalone parts that you could have had, and had little, just tiny little set pieces that you do. And I think 28 whatevers later would lend itself to a.
I'll take 28 anything later, all right?
Yeah, I think if nothing else, Ben, you know that if the discussions in the film doesn't take off, you're getting a 28 years later 4-hour long documentary, 28 hours documentary.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be good. So yeah, that is one piece of horror news. Staying with the undead, although obviously not traditional undead and 28 weeks later, but still, there's a trailer now for another Walking Dead spin-off show called The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. We've got a teaser trailer. The Walking Dead Dead City has started on Sunday nights, apparently, on AMC, I guess. I've not checked it out yet. It's got old Negan and Maggie in it. But this one, they've gone and given old Daryl Dixon, a character who's not even in the comics, but has become a very important and sort of iconic character in pop culture now. It's premiering in autumn 2023, and the sneak peek is a clip from an episode called The Abbey, where Daryl finds himself kidnapped by a group of nuns. Oh yeah, that's crazy, that isn't it? Because the thing is, Daryl Dixon, he's like a sort of like biker guy. He's got a crossbow. And nuns have kidnapped him. Oh, that's insane.
It's nuns have changed. How long did you stay with The Walking Dead for?
Oh, I'm gonna say so. It was a little while after Negan appeared and smashed a few people's skulls in. Maybe another whole series after that. I think I watched that whole series later, so maybe 7, and then about halfway through that was when I unfortunately did check out, which I don't do very often because I am a bit of a completionist. I genuinely just think
You've come a long way at that point, right?
Yeah, I just think I just lost interest for so long that it was too many episodes to go back and catch up with. Well, it wasn't, but I'd convinced myself it was. Oh, how many am I behind? 10. And there wasn't like anything that I was seeing that was making me go, oh, okay, maybe I'm back in now. Everything. But I felt like that with the comic as well. I got to a point with the comic where it felt like the storylines were kind of just going around in circles a little bit. And
I got a lot further with the comic than I did the series. I think I did the first 2 seasons of the show. The first one I really enjoyed. Second one was a bit of a drop off for me. And I was like, do I need to watch any more of this?
Yeah, because there was a writer's strike around about the second season, wasn't there?
I think it might have been that.
When they were on a farm. And then the third series, when they get to the prison, was good as well.
I haven't seen it.
But then, yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, the comic I read the vast majority of. It's one of those things that's stupid that I haven't finished it. I think I've probably got less than 10 issues that I haven't read.
Oh wow! Did it ever like wrap up? Like that's it? That's all the comic done?
I think so, but it's also not like they've fixed it. As far as I'm aware, there's not a
because
there's not a definitive like all these people are dead or they've cured it. Actually, everyone's better now.
They've cured it, actually. Yeah, I mean, I did love the stuff in The Walking Dead in the comic and the show where it was like, actually, no matter how you die, you're coming back as a zombie. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
A nice little take on it, I guess. But yeah, if the comic has reached a definitive end, it would be good to go and maybe just start again and then read it all just to see.
And that's what I thought. Like, even though I'm so close to the end because I left such a gap, I was like, well, I suppose I better start from the beginning and read it all again.
That's how it goes. Start from the very beginning. So in terms of that show, I mean, I probably won't get around to checking it out, but I guess if Walking Dead fans are huge fans of Daryl Dixon, go and check that out. I mean, I do like Norman Reedus. I like him in Death Stranding and other things, but you know, I don't know if I can commit. That's 3 spin-offs now, right? Because you got Dead City. What was the other one called?
Is that the Rick and Michonne one?
Oh wait, there's that one as well, but there was an earlier one called like something The Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead, yeah. So there was that as well. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And no matter how much you like the zombie genre, I think when you're in the same you're in the same universe for such a long time and you kind of understand the rules, you kind of got to suspend your disbelief a little bit when certain scenarios play out because you're a bit like, well, they've been experiencing this stuff for years. How are they still getting cornered? How are they still getting overrun? You know, they'd know how these. Yeah, I don't know. But then again, I've never experienced a zombie apocalypse.
Anything else in the news?
The last bit of news I've got is talking about Insidious: The Red Door, which is just released. It's got the highest franchise opening weekend in 10 years. Apparently, the last. I don't know what was the last version. I did have to mention the song that got released as well. I don't know if you saw that for the soundtrack. This is kind of fascinating because Ghost, the band Ghost, have covered Shakespeare's Sister Stay, which is a seminal,
very nice
90s iconic anthem. But not just that, Andy. Patrick Wilson himself is doing backing vocals in it.
Well, we've heard him singing The Conjuring 2. Does a bit of Elvis, doesn't he?
Does a bit of Elvis, so he's all over it now. Doing so I think go and check that out. I love that song. I love Ghost, so it was great to hear that. I thought it was really cool, like a nice coming together of worlds in a sense. But yeah, it's made like 32 million, I think, and
it's tripled its budget, I think.
Tripled its budget, and Chapter 2 was the last one to make a lot more than that. It made 40 million on opening weekend, but 3 and The Last Key haven't. I will be going to see it, but I need to watch Chapter 3 and The Last Key first because I haven't seen either of those.
Same. I need to get caught up. I've seen the first 2. We've talked about them. We did a whole episode on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to catch up on 3 and 4 before I go and see The Red Door.
Yeah. It's cool though because I think I think the reviews have been not great, but this is the thing. Even if these films aren't amazing, it still shows that people are still enjoying horror on the big screen and sort of spending their hard-earned money to watch films on the week they come out, which is cool. It's cool to see it doing the numbers.
It is. Yeah, more power to him. And Patrick Wilson's directorial debut, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I completely forgot about that.
He's in it. He's directing. He's singing on the soundtrack. This guy's a real Dennis Waterman.
He's a real what?
Dennis Waterman.
Listen, I know I'm directing this film, okay? And I know I'm in it as well. Have you ever thought though? My favorite band is Ghost. That's what he said.
Yeah,
I'd love to do a duet with them, and I've asked them multiple times to do a duet, and they've gone, Patrick, we've got no reason to do a duet. He's like, what if it was a song for my movie that I'm also starring in, and I'm singing the song?
He's maximizing his budget returns as well. That you're thinking that, right? As the director, I'm going to have some degree of responsibility for this budget here. Backing vocals, they cost a few bob, don't they?
Yeah, he's getting involved in everything. He's getting involved in everything. He's gone, what's that, special effects? I'll have a little go. I've been looking.
He's done the makeup on the Redman.
He's come in with his own little makeup kit. He's gone, look, I dressed up as Darth Maul years ago for Halloween. I know how to do red and black makeup. Definitely. Come over here, mate.
The little ticker that they use to hypnotize themselves into it's not the shadow realm, the further.
Yeah.
He's probably got one. I bought one from home, actually. Wife's a piano teacher. Here you are.
Listen, I brought my own clothes to the set, and also I've brought all clothes from different times of my life for you, the kids. These are my clothes from when I was a kid. Yeah. Don't There we go. We're covering all.
His son's going to college, and it's like he's probably timed it for his real son to be going to college, and be like, just film a bit while I'm dropping you off. Put a ghosty in post.
Yeah, I know we're just about to start shooting this film, but I will let you know, I've actually shot most of it already, just in my downtime. So we're ready to go pretty much. And he's just going to pocket the other 10 million. He's got...
Turns out my house was due for renovation. I thought, I'll tell you what, I've always wanted a really bold front door. So I've done my front door as red. And that's the...
yeah.
The film was called The Blue Door originally. And he was like, I've just had the door painted red.
I'm not fancying the blue door.
One script edit.
Write the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
On you, Patrick. Nice work.
And that's it. That is it for horror news. I guess we should talk about what we've been watching. As we mentioned before, this recording is only a few days since our last episode. So we're getting back on schedule. But have you seen anything of note in the last probably like 3 days, Andy?
Just a couple of things, Ben. Firstly, I'm going to open with it's one of these editorial moments we have to put out. Made a mistake, like an absolute fool.
You've done what?
I was so excited last week that I was watching this great new series, the one that escaped from Quibi, and I was so excited to tell everyone about it and tell you about it, tell you that you should watch it because it's really good, and I've continued to watch it. But like an absolute mug, didn't write down what it was called, and I absolutely fucked it with the name. I called it on last week's episode something like 50 States of Scared or something like that, which is a shit title, you might think, which you'd be right to because it's not what it's called. It's called 50 States of Fright.
Okay.
A far stronger title. And
do we want to
what the series is actually called?
Should we attribute this to the fact you turned 40 fairly recently as well?
Yeah, the brain's gone. Probably had COVID as well a couple of times. So, you know, that'll do the damage.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, not since I've been 40. But, you know, lots of these things will happen. Either way, just my excitement. Maybe it's the big corporations. They've wanted to delete it from my memory as well as all the streaming services.
That's what they've tried to do.
I've seen a couple more of them, and I watched one, which is, I believe, the start of what was considered the second season. Another episode that I want to particularly call out was called Almost There, which is so good, which is brilliant. It's got elements of The Fall to it that we saw at Fright Fest the other year. It also has a ghost story about it. It's about a woman who is an engineer who is afraid of heights, doesn't really do field work, but in an emergency is called out because a wind turbine is about to be hit by a storm and it's malfunctioning and it's about to fuck everything up. So she is tasked by this guy who basically he sympathizes with her, but like says, we have no choice. We have to go up there and we have to get up there and do this job in the next half an hour. So you can't do it slowly or take your time for anyone else to get here.
I'll just pretend I had a really bad stomach.
It's really, really good. It's brilliant. I really continue to enjoy 50 States of Fright and hope, availability notwithstanding, to see all of them I can seek out. So I watched that, which I continue to recommend. Find it wherever you can. I watched another couple of movies. I have watched The Beast Must Die, a 1974 classic with a lot of your big old Hammer style actors in there. Peter Cushing is there. You got Charles Gray in there. You've got Calvin Lockhart as your lead as well, who you may recognize from films like Predator 2. He's part of that, and he's in Fire Walk with Me as well, so from Twin Peaks.
Oh, nice.
So it's got a great contrivance that I would love to see in more movies. It begins with a little bit of narration saying, hey, this is a detective story. One of the characters is a werewolf, and you're the detective. And late in the film, we're going to give you the werewolf minute, where after you've been presented all the clues, it will be your chance to give your answer before it's revealed. And genuinely, as we get to the climax of the film stops, the narrator comes back in and goes, okay, you've got all the clues and we're about to reveal the end of the film. Now it's up to you to decide who you think the werewolf is. Oh, no. And then it like goes through all the characters. It has each of the characters kind of looking and going around and like while it does a countdown for you to make your guesses, lovely bit of audience interaction.
Yeah, that's cool.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the film is, as you would expect, is like a 70s thing where, like, there's a werewolf, and the werewolf is pretty much just a black dog that they have running about. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I've been meaning to watch that for a while. And other than that, I watched Exit, which is an independent horror film directed by Michael Fausti. It's like a psychological one location drama thriller about an Airbnb when two couples are booked into it as a double booking, but there's some sinister goings on that
Wait, what's it called?
It's called Exit.
Oh,
it is available on a couple of platforms, but if you are in the US or have a VPN, you can watch it for free on Tubi.
Nice. Lovely
Yeah,
stuff.
and I've followed Michael on Twitter, supports a lot of independent film, independent horror filmmaking. I saw he'd been tweeting about his film that was now available on Tubi, so I thought, why not check it out?
Get involved.
And I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good bit of indie character work between them, some intense moments, and they have a lot of fun doing some practical gore as well.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but that is it, Ben. How about you? Have you watched much in the last couple of days?
Not loads. I've seen a couple of things. I guess a couple of things, not so much horror, but I did also check out Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the Robert Englund story documentary, all about the life and times, the career of Robert Englund, obviously, aka Freddy Krueger himself. It's on Screambox at the moment, and yeah, this was great. I loved hearing all about the actor's early life and breaking into the business. There were so many different stories about him from various actors, some from the horror world, some not. People like Lance Henriksen, Lynn Shay, obviously Heather Langenkamp. I said that weird. Eli Roth, loads of people like that, Langenkamp. Yeah, so it was good. I just, me, I'm a sucker for a sort of horror documentary, and I think I was more fascinated because I knew a lot of the sort of Nightmare on Elm Street stuff because I watched that huge, never ending in a good way, Nightmare on Elm Street documentary, Never Sleep Again.
That's one I actually have seen. It's one of my favorites. It's so good.
Yeah. So I kind of knew a lot of that, but so I was kind of more fascinated to see Robert Englund in some of his early roles. What he was kind of a bit typecast as being a sort of like a redneck scumbag for a while in a few films. And it was right up until like the year of Nightmare on Elm Street as well. Like he was still sort of struggling to break through with various things, and he kind of talks about how he sort of embodies the character of Freddy Krueger as well. He said, well, like when he was getting the makeup done, he was really annoyed, pissed off because he'd be sat in the chair for hours, and Johnny Depp would come in and be in the chair for like 5 minutes, and he was like, "Why am I sat in here for hours and hours on end?" And he said he
used that kid up.
They used that anger to like channel his like rage towards these like teenagers. So yeah, that was really fascinating. And Screambox are doing some really interesting stuff lately. I really enjoyed Living with Chucky as well. And this was just as good. So go and check that out if you wanna find out more from the legend that is Robert Englund.
Do you think Robert's had his last turn playing Freddy now? Do you think
this is weird because I always read things where he's like, I'm done. I'll never play the character again. I'm too old. I'm too yeah, I'm done. But I don't know. I think there's bound to be someone or something that can tempt him back into the role for like one last time. I think it depends on the filmmaker. It depends on the script. I mean, I don't know. You might genuinely be done with it, but it's just got to be one of the worst roles for recasting, right? Because I think you can get away with it with some other roles, even like major horror roles. This is the one role. I mean, they've tried it once, I know, but
we'll get to that one day. We'll get to it eventually.
Oh yeah, we'll get to it eventually. I'm sure there are plenty of actors who could do a good job, but this is the thing. It needs to be a role that isn't replicating Robert Englund's role. That's not saying that Jackie Earle Haley's act was trying to replicate, because it wasn't. It really, really wasn't. It was playing it on a completely different end of the scale, but it just didn't work. And I also think what didn't work was the script as well, because the script for that Freddy's lines were iffy, to say the very least. Yeah, but
Let me get thinking about that, because I think it's our long teased, hard to get to sit down and do bonus episode we keep talking about doing, where we're going to pitch. I think that's where we're going to begin a new Freddy movie. And I think maybe we'll set that as a challenge for ourselves, that you would have to recast it. So Robert Englund is not an option.
No, well, I did.
Throwing down the gauntlet there. So whatever idea you come up with for the Freddy movie you want to pitch,
I saw something
have
recently
to recast it.
talking about a certain actor. I have to remember who it was, but it was a good shout. A character actor whose face I kind of knew, but like name maybe not so much. So we'll get back to it when I find out exactly who it was, and we'll discuss that some more. But yeah, maybe like an unknown, someone that you don't recognize as something else. I don't know, or could go completely opposite direction. Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much it for what I've seen, apart from some other non-horror things. But people don't want to hear about that. Apart from the film of the bloody week.
That's
the film
it.
of the week. I say the film of the week. It feels like we said the film of the week mere days ago. We're already back at it. But yeah, we decided to cover this film. I know we've already discussed it a little bit at the top of the show, but we decided to cover this film because 28 days later turned 20 years old. And this is a sequel that I think some people seem to love, some people seem to hate, and I think a lot of people forget about it as well. I don't think it often comes up in the conversation when we're talking about zombie movies or even zombie movie sequels. I think on its own, it would probably be a bit more memorable, but as a sequel to 28 Days Later, it's kind of got a little bit lost in the tide.
Lives in a long shadow, right?
It lives in a long shadow. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So yeah, 28 weeks later, which is a 2007 post-apocalyptic horror film directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, who co-wrote the film. And there's like 4 other names here. But it's a sequel to 28 Days Later. It stars Robert Carlyle, Rose Byrne, Jeremy Renner, Catherine McCormack, Imogen Poots, and Idris Elba. Look at that cast. It's set after the events of the first film, depicting the efforts of NATO military forces to salvage a safe zone in London. Yeah. In terms of reviews, so it's got 6.9 on IMDb. On Rotten Tomatoes, 72% critics score, 66% audience score, 3.1 on Letterboxd. Choice reviews. Kim says, you could play that score over footage of someone taking a shit, and I'd still give it a couple of stars. It goes so hard. Yeah. 3 stars. I'm assuming 2 of those stars are for the song. The song we're talking about is In the House in a Heartbeat from John Murphy, which is not only used in this film to a great degree, but I reckon for maybe 10 years after, longer than that, 15 years after 28 Days Later, it was everywhere. It was on like sports montages. It was on adverts. It was just I even think it got reused in other films. Like they'd obviously bought the rights to that particular score, and it was used in other films. Does that make sense? I think it was.
Yeah, so they can use it. It's the music that plays in my head. If ever,
wait, I've just realised what film.
What's that?
Kick-Ass. It's in Kick-Ass as well.
Kick-Ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the film that comes to me. Like, if you've gone to bed and then you wake up in the morning, you step into the kitchen and you realize you didn't do the dishes last night. You look at the state of the sink.
That's every day for me, and that's every day. Drop to your knees. Fuck. Okay, Mondo Cinema says a pointless sequel containing almost nothing that made the first film great. 2.5 stars. Jay says Imogen Poots should have been Hollywood's next star. The potential she had. 3 stars. Nice one, Jay. And David James, don't know if this is the goalkeeper, the famous goalkeeper, former England, Portsmouth, Liverpool, Aston Villa goalkeeper. Zombie fans should worship the opening scene of 28 Weeks Later the same way everyone worships the opening montage from Up. 3.5 stars. Could have compared it to another horror film possibly, but maybe the scene from Up has that much more impact for old David James. Yeah, so there we go. 28 weeks later, we've both seen it before. I've seen it a few times, I think, but you said that you've seen it the first time. This was the first time since. Yeah,
first time since the cinemas, Ben. So I'd have seen this 2007. Wow, back in the day, and then I think it's one that I had. I'm pretty sure I owned it on DVD, but that was nearer of my life when you go to HMV. There'd be the deals on the DVDs, you'd be like, oh, get a couple of DVDs, and they'd sit on your shelf forever. I don't think I've ever watched it again. So it was nice to revisit.
Yeah, God, did you remember any of it really from like 16 years ago?
The beginning and what happens to cause the outbreak. I think I've lived a lot of my last few years thinking that this is an incident that is entirely Robert Carlyle's fault. I think if you'd done what you'd done to your wife, I would have assumed she's pissed off with me. Don't go see her.
Yeah, possibly, but there's always
Certainly,
something.
if you go and see her, don't go and go, you forgive us, right? Give us a kiss.
It's almost where you're also like, surely they're more prepared for there to be an outbreak than they are. The fact that it happens as quickly as it does, when there's loads of people with automatic rifles around, is kind of nuts. But I
Because
think
everyone is a loose unit, having a sleep in the helicopter and making each other jump all the time, talking about watching people mazzing off through the windows and stuff. Do your jobs.
Do your bloody job. It's because, I mean, in a way, incompetence, yes, but in a way, everyone's let their guard down massively because they're just like, well, it's gone. The rage virus is gone. There's absolutely no way it's going to come back. So really, what we're doing here is kind of pointless. What I would describe this film as, and this is kind of what I thought of before, is it's kind of like the greatest hits of 28 Days Later. Everything that was kind of memorable and popular and did well from that film has kind of just been repeated in this. So obviously, yes, that bit of the soundtrack, which only takes place during one bit in that film, 28 Days Later. The thumbs in the eyes, which we see a lot going on. I think what they did is Cillian Murphy, when he went kind of a bit nuts towards the end of that film, and everyone thought, God, is he infected or what? They took it one step further in this, where they went, Robert Carlyle is infected, and he's essentially like the biggest name in the film, and he's kind of aware in a way, like stalking people rather than just going nuts at them.
Maybe because I don't know, maybe because his wife had like a modified.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, it just feels like a greatest hits, a dumbed down, dulled down, watered down version of the original. Like everything that feels like that sort of fascination of seeing London streets completely empty. You can kind of see it in this film, but it's not as impactful, is it? It's nowhere near as impactful as the original. And there's some very, very weird nighttime shots in this, right? Very weird, where you're like, it looks like it's been filmed. It's been filmed in daylight, and they've just put like some sort of filter over it to make it look like nighttime.
I haven't looked at the tribute to see exactly what they did, but it does feel like a weird, like coloration that's on there. I found this out, and I will own the fact that I haven't watched 28 Days Later back to back with this one, so maybe there's a little bit of rose tinted spectacles on it.
Yeah,
but I feel
because
in terms of cinematography wise, like some of the shaky cam stuff, it feels slightly lower res, and it doesn't feel quite so effective on that one. I had the feeling that some of the shaky cam use was to overcome the limitations of what they had to do in terms of effects versus being a stylistic choice. And it's not critically bad or anything like that, but like I did notice it and think, oh, that's a little bit choppy.
Yeah, there was lots of that, and I think it was kind of like trying to maintain a bit of stylistic what word am I thinking of? Whereas it felt like it was to try and make it feel more related, consistency, I guess.
Bit of continuity, right?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, there's a bit of that, and I don't particularly hate it. It's not like the cinematography that I dislike in this. I think it does maintain some of that, but it feels like, despite the fact it still takes place in the UK, it feels a bit like an Americanized version of the original. Like there's still bits that I enjoy, but it just doesn't have that. I mean, for me, 20 Days Later is one of my favorite films, not just one of my favorite zombie films.
I think one of the highest ratings we've had on the show consistently, because I was on 28 Days Later as a guest as well. I think it got A's from all three of us.
Yeah, it just has a certain something, doesn't it? It has a certain. I'm kind of a bit creeped out by zombies in general, anyway. But when it's zombies in the UK, because I love stuff like Dead Set. I love Dead Set. I think that's genuinely scary as well. The zombies aren't fast. It's not a rage virus. It's more traditional zombies. I find that creepy. So I think it's it hits that sweet spot for me of like capturing something that I'm actually scared of, but also elaborating on it in a way, with scary fast zombies, abandoned, like, do you know what I mean? Seeing London completely abandoned.
Familiar scenes, yeah. And I don't want to go early before we've gone through everything, where I'm concluding of what how it doesn't work in some ways. I think for me, if I think of my overall things that I think maybe lack very directly when compared to its predecessor, is like the UK element, the US element, like having all of the influence of the American military and so on. Maybe for other audiences, for US based audiences, that makes it more accessible, because you sometimes forget that despite the fact we have a shared language and in many ways we're very similar to the US, it is very different. Like there are, like, culturally there are massive changes there. So maybe that is does it make it more accessible? Does it feel kind of strange for us watching it? But the other part for me is I think that maybe this lacks a little bit of the relationship between characters that we had so well in the first one, the sort of almost family dynamic you have when the four survivors in the original are traveling together. You get to spend a little bit more time getting to know people. You get to care about those individuals as well, whereas in this one, you get Rose Byrne, you get Jeremy Renner's characters, but they feel as the connections between them seem I guess they don't have time to develop, because these aren't characters that spend a long time with each other, and we get we find their relationships building over time. The crux of the movie happens over one like day, I guess.
I think it just like rushes through certain things as well. Like it could have kept Robert Carlyle alive to sort of build the tension with him and his kids, where they're like, you said you saw our mum die, but she's alive. Like, what the hell happened? You get a scene, but then it kind of like becomes Robert Carlyle becoming Nemesis. Idris Elba's character, the sort of US general, does he just vanish?
Yeah, I think you just see him thinking, that's that then, I guess.
That's that then. Yeah, it's kind of odd. It's kind of, I don't know. It feels like it needs something else other than the infected to be like, if you had that character being like the big bad who's like going, right, no matter what happens, kill these people who are trying to survive. I'm behind it and I'm going to make sure it happens. And also like even like Jeremy Renner's character, it feels like characters' deaths don't feel particularly earned.
They kind of decides to go rogue as well. They're just like, oh well.
Oh well, yeah, and they add like some minor characters into the mix as well. Again, kind of feels pointless. I guess Harold Perrineau from Lost as a helicopter pilot. It's kind of interesting, but even that, we kind of like he kind of takes a moral standpoint and kind of sticks to it, and then like.
But he also gets to chip up. Like, I've never been in the American military, Ben. I've never claimed to be, but I feel they're probably pretty tight on where the helicopters are going.
Yeah, where are you going?
I reckon they're probably switched on about that, not just flying off to see if your mate's all right.
Well, that's the thing as well, isn't it? We do get, there is a scene at the end of this film, and I don't know how much it's needed or how much it works trying to say, oh bloody hell, the rage virus. It's only got over to Paris now, and
I feel
and whether like Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are gonna like, that's gonna be a continuation. They're gonna go, actually, yeah, we're gonna have to keep that, or whether they're just gonna completely veto that and just say, look, we're just keeping it in the UK, because like
that bit, you could get away with it and say that was just a thing. 28 weeks later, an asylum quick horror movie has come out about what if this happened in France, and it will go back.
Yeah,
and there'll be someone watching it on telly going, oh, no.
28 weeks
this
after.
Never happened. Yeah. Someone watching it on TV.
I think I've definitely mentioned it before, and it's one of the problems I have with the Resident Evil franchise, is that I enjoy apocalyptic stories when they're quite contained, when we're kind of like with the survivors who like don't know what's happening elsewhere. When we see it on a bigger scale, where it's like 80% of the world's population was wiped out within 48 hours. When it's like that, I don't know, it takes me out of it a bit, where I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of mad. Like, this is. Yeah, whereas not knowing and kind of being there with the survivors, and kind of like these little bits of hope when I like, oh, I've heard up north. There's a sort of army base, and apparently they're telling survivors to go there. Oh, apparently there's no infection south of the border or anything like that. But for some reason,
you need that little bit of hope. You don't want the White House surrounded by big walls and a big dragon like Resident Evil, exactly. Whatever.
When we see this is when I check out, right? When we see a map that's blue, suddenly like a red wave sweep over it, showing you how the infection takes hold. When it looks like one of those games you can get on your on your phone, which is
having a game of not Pandemic, when you build a virus.
Yeah. When it looks like that, it takes me out of it a bit. So I think that's why, 28 Days Later always hit the nail on the head for me in terms of what a zombie apocalypse would probably look like to me as somebody who grew up in the UK, lives in the UK. And it just feels more kind of like realistic, doesn't it? And it is scary because all the people playing the rage infected people are like athletes.
Yeah. I feel that because it, like, obviously they're not going to have the same fears or fatigue. They're going to go for it, but I also think they trip over a lot more because they're running like idiots, flailing about the place.
Yeah, definitely. I run.
They're not all like absolutely quality sprinters, all running like Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah. Wow.
The last bit I want to touch on before we dive into the plot. And again, I'm being picky and persnickety, Ben, so you'll have to forgive me. But why do the people with the rage virus only rage off at people that don't have it? Surely, if it makes you uncontrollably angry, you'd be fucked off with everybody. They'd just be fighting in a big pile.
Yeah. But tell me if, like, this actually happens, because I feel like I've misremembered it. I will need to go back because I've seen 28 Days Later loads. Isn't there a bit when Cillian Murphy's character Jim is like running around like a nutter, and I swear like he's running with the infected at one point, like they're not going for him. It's almost like,
don't remember him running with the infected. I think he's just legging it through I think it's when he just goes absolutely mad at the army base and pokes people's eyes out.
Maybe there's like I don't want to say they can sense fear or something like that, but maybe there's some sort of thing going on in their brain, some sort of message being sent where it's like you can tell who's scared and running away and who's ragey. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could write something for it, but it's never addressed quite in the quite in the film.
And in a way, I don't know. Does it matter? To me, it doesn't matter greatly. The only time I was thinking about it was when there was like a massive, when they were like picking off people, shooting them. That was the only time I was thinking about it too much. Because I was like, how would you know which ones are which? Because the soldiers can't tell.
We'll come to it. I had a shout out to everyone to lie down. Anyone that didn't lie down, you could shoot them.
Yeah, that does make sense, doesn't it? Everyone panicked,
or would drill it with, like, if you're in an infected space, there are snipers out here. Even though you're afraid, our instructions will be to stand still, and we will pick off anyone that's running.
Yeah, because it just gets to a point where they go, right, we have to kill everyone now, which is like, well, pointless, isn't it? Right. That's game over.
So we dive into the plot.
Yeah. So obviously we mentioned the cast. Robert Carlyle is like the lead. There's a guy called Don. I don't know if I even mentioned his name once.
Donnie.
Donnie. And then his kids are Mackintosh Muggleton.
Mackintosh Muggleton, who's not been in anything else. His name is Andy. And then
Imogen Poots is Tammy.
Yeah, that's it.
And then obviously Jeremy Renner before Hawkeye as Doyle. Rose Byrne as Scarlet. Again, this is kind of before she was in any sort of major Hollywood roles, wasn't it? Harold Perrineau post Lost as Flynn. And then Catherine McCormack is Alice, Don's wife. And then obviously Idris Elba is in, strangely, a very small part. And then there's kind of like just other people made up. Other people were fodder for the rage infected people. But yeah, in terms of talking about, I think this film is mostly remembered for this opening scene.
Yeah.
And
this is this is probably a bit like Resident Evil Nemesis, which is going to be coming up a few times. It's concurrent with the first film, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it seems to be taking place I mean, as we do find out from the sort of title crawl or a couple of bits of information after that take place after this, 5 weeks for the infected to die. So this is within the first 5 weeks. So within the first 28 days, I guess, of infection. But it looks like these people are acting like they've been locked up for 12 years or something, because they're all like
they're all like, I ain't got much. I've only got one tin of tomatoes left, but
one tin of tomatoes, and they got some chickpeas left.
But they're having a big old load of pasta though, so they're in a big old pasta dinner.
Pasta. I feel like that's too much pasta, even if I was eating pasta now as a person who's not in the middle of a
it's not rationing.
Yeah, I go, oh, that's a bit too much for me. I'm a bit full up, carb-tastic.
Bit of a hearty dinner. I guess you want those carbs in case you have to do any running.
Oh yeah, but then you'd be tired afterwards for a little while, wouldn't you?
That's the next day. Do some carb loading. Do some big runs outside. Carb
loading for next day. Okay.
So they're all having a big dinner, and I like this touch. You give an indication that they've been together for a long time. So it's like, oh, there's a little bit of tension. One of the women there is convinced her boyfriend's going to come back, and another guy that says, "Stop fucking saying that." He's dead. He's bloody dead.
Bloody dead. Oh, he's been gone for 5 days out where there's all these rage infestors. He's going to be all right though. He's going to be chilling somewhere in a tree. Yeah.
Gone living like Sherwood Forest with like a bear he's befriended. He's having a great time, but no.
But even this scene could work well as like a feature film of its own, or even like a short film that goes alongside the release of this film, just introducing us to these characters and their relationships, because it does a pretty good job quickly of establishing who everyone is. There's like an old couple, obviously, whose house it is.
And she's found some lovely chocolates in the cellar. Why are you putting your chocolates in the cellar?
Yeah, what are they? Are they going to be roses out of date from 3 Christmases ago?
Why the cellar? Oh, well, surely you get a box of chocolates. If you're not going to eat them straight away, I know sometimes old people, they're not going to nail a box of chocolates. They might be like, where should I put them? Kitchen cupboard, re-gift them to a relative. Cellar.
Get them down in the cellar, for God's sake. Okay, nice little bit of trivia.
Maybe they're liqueurs and think it's like a wine cellar.
Yeah, we're letting them age. We're letting them age for a while. They'll taste better. A little bit of trivia. The farm that they're hiding out in here is the same farm that appears in Children of Men. Do you remember when they go to that farm at some point in the film? So like halfway through, and then they end up escaping. I can't remember. Yeah. Same farm, apparently. They've obviously gone, let's make all of our apocalyptic...
Quids in on the film money.
Apocalyptic farm money, yeah. There we go. So also another fact. So obviously a little boy does arrive soon. The kid, he claims to be from Sandford. Sandford is the name of the fake village that was used by British police to practice emergency preparedness drills. In real life, obviously, it's also the fictitious location of Hot Fuzz.
But say, is it where Hot Fuzz is? I didn't think of that. Sandford.
No, very interesting.
So yeah, little boy comes along. They're having the dinner. The atmosphere has been ruined.
Yeah,
by that guy going, your boyfriend's bloody dead, all right?
Your boyfriend's dead. He's had
bloody for him.
The only thing he ain't interested in pasta. If anything, he hates pasta. The only thing he wants to eat is your bloody neck. And she goes, don't say that.
Yeah. So really put you off your pasta.
But then they are banging at the door. Here's a little boy, but it could just be a man doing a little boy's voice, I thought.
Yeah. You'd do it, wouldn't you? If you wanted to be desperately let in, you'd go, oh, it's me, a little boy, let's sit.
It's me, a little Cockney boy. I'm here. I'm absolutely starving, please.
And then you'd have to try and maintain that for a little while. Yeah, if they let you in and say, why do you do that voice for? You go, that's just how I talk.
And slowly just lose it. And then on day 3, you go, oh,
pretend your voice is broken. Oh, bloody hell, my voice has changed. That must have been quite a scare. That's triggered it.
So yeah, they let the boy in. Obviously, understandably, Don is probably like the most worried about the whole situation, isn't he? He's like, look, we can't let him in. Oh, it's just a kid. Oh, well, bloody hell, right. He gets a crowbar ready to clock him. But no, they let him in, but it goes downhill pretty quickly, doesn't it? And I think
that poor woman. First, like 3 things. Her boyfriend's gone. Then that guy's been having a go at a ruined dinner. And then she hears like a little bit of rat-a-tat-tatting at the chamber door. It says, "Oh, maybe it's my boyfriend come back." She goes to like peek through the window. There's some spooky infected eyes there, and they literally thump through the door and immediately have her.
This is effective though. I feel like still like the way the camera moves and like the close-ups on eyes and the sounds of the zombies as well. The sort of just the way
Scatman Johns.
I love a bit of Scatman John. Hang on a minute, are you infected?
What's that outside? Skin
smashes through. And it pretty much descends into chaos, doesn't it? So the old couple and the other guy who was like saying, your boyfriend's not coming back, they go and hide in a barn, and then the boy like runs upstairs to hide, and Don and his wife Alice.
Kids in this are a liability. Not listening, running off.
Yeah, I kind of like the sort of claustrophobic nature of this. Reminded me of Dog Soldiers in a way, where you're kind of like battling the huge werewolves in the tiny little corridors of like a cottage and hiding in little doorways and stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously Don.
They get upstairs.
He's fighting.
They get upstairs. He's going mad. He's like the woman who's been pulled through and getting her arm bitten. He's obviously seen the scene with Cillian Murphy, but he doesn't hesitate a second. He bashes her head with that crowbar. We see
immediately how long it takes, because she gets bitten, she turns, falls on one of the guys, and then she's turned immediately. It's seconds. And I always think with these things, even when he's bludgeoning them to death with the crowbar, I always think, just a tiny fleck of it's going to get in someone's mouth, someone's eye. Would it work in the ear? I guess it would.
You mustn't be shouting when you don't be like doing it. You've got to keep your mouth tightly.
Yeah, because it's brutal. And there's even a couple of moments later in the film where like blood like splatters onto somebody, and you're like, how long would it take?
Wipe it off.
Can you wipe it? Like, what if an hour later you sort of go, oh, will it still be effective?
Affected, yeah. Like viruses can live in bodies for a long time.
Oh god, see, it's horrible, isn't it? So yeah, Don sort of runs upstairs to sort of assist Alice, I guess. She's like, come on, we gotta go. Leave that little boy alone. But she obviously,
if this was The Walking Dead, there's like a choice moment here where basically it goes in slow motion, like, all comes into slow motion, and it's like her going, help us, Don. And like she's there with like a cupboard door and that little boy, and he's like looking at her, looking at like an empty door that is like escape, help family, escape. Oh, we should say that their own kids that we see later, we don't know where they are. He just says, oh, they're really far away. Yeah. Maybe they're on holiday.
We do find out.
Trip.
So we find out that they got evacuated, didn't we? I don't know why they didn't
they've been evacuated.
We don't know why they didn't get evacuated as well. But I kind of feel like in this moment, Alice is trying to protect this boy because I guess she feels like she hasn't managed to protect her kids, even though they've been evacuated. Yeah.
She loves him right away. It's a classic like
loves him
film
right
thing where you've got like where there's a kid whose parents are either baddies or have been killed. It's like, I guess you're our kid now.
That's how it works. At the end of the film, you're like, do you want to come in with us? Yeah, all right. That's how it works. There's no legalities surrounding that.
No paperwork to be done. No.
Just like when Sloth comes to live with them at the end of the Goonies.
Basically, when you do have to go to the authorities and fill in that form, it like goes, have you met as the result of a traumatic or dangerous event? If yes, skip to end of form. It's like, yeah. And then you just do the signature at the bottom.
We met when the rage virus turned up.
Perfect.
How do you feel? I mean, the creepy moment in this is when the rage guy like kind of runs in, goes for. He's kind of just there for a second, isn't he? And this is when Don makes his decision. Alice is obviously screaming, "Don, please no!" I mean, I'm not saying for a second that you would do this. However, I mean, leaving her is bad. Leaving the boy is bad, but leaving your wife is even worse. Like, he's already taken out a few of them with a crowbar. What's stopping him taking out another? Or is he literally just like
should have just bashed him? Should have just bashed him and tried to run for it, because you're obviously not afraid of bashing him. Yeah,
so he's so scared that he's like, see you later.
He has a couple of chances, doesn't he? Though, because I don't know how it happens. It all happens very quickly, but he chooses to run. And even though the zombie was in the room, the infected person, not a zombie, let's get it right. Yeah, he's in the room with them. Somehow, it hasn't happened immediately because he has time to run out to like the front garden And then she's at the window going like...
But I think they run to another room. So Alice and a boy. So he slams the door. The infected goes at the door where he was. And then Alice and the boy manage to run to like an adjacent room, like another room.
Okay. So they run in the room. She's banging at a big bay window saying, "Here, come back." She does this oi that haunts him a few times. She's like, bangs her. She's like, "Oi!" He's like,
no.
It's like if it was his mom, she'd be like, "What's his name, Don?"
That's her indoors.
Robert David Carlyle. He's like, oh, used all three of his names.
I've only been at the pub having a couple of pints. She's already on to me. She's already chewing my ear off. Come on home. You said you'd be home by 9. It's 10 past.
So he looks back and like he does look back and then he does see her get like tackled away.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'd be satisfied. Okay, I have fucked this, but she is dead.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay, obviously, for all that I've seen everyone come into contact with these rage people have been dead or raged pretty much immediately. She's definitely dead. So in a way, him telling his kids later that he saw her die isn't a lie.
I do think he is lying because he seems to be. I definitely saw her die. Actually, yeah, I definitely saw.
Oh yeah, I saw her die. Yeah. They ripped her entrails out. Yeah. They punched her face in, and I think they even ripped her legs off at the end.
Yeah. So he whatever he goes and this is a really good scene. Robert Carlyle does some big sprinting and loads of them are coming over this hill.
I was very knackered from this moment. So this is the moment, I guess. The opening scene is great, but this is the shot that everyone sort of talks about, which is him sprinting, and then out of focus, we just see all these figures just slowly coming over the top of the hill towards him. And obviously, the fact is so memorable is also because of the music. The classic 28 Days Later theme tune, as you would call it, is also playing. Maybe Robert Carlyle's in the theme
Killer
tune.
Clowns from Outer Space has a film leaned into its like bit of music so hard.
Oh yeah, it's great. It is effective. They're super effective, and it's a great shot because you got this kind of like drone shot behind him. Then you're like with him, and then there's this kind of shot you get with the infected. I don't know if they did it in 28 Days Later, where it's kind of like it's like a sort of static shot or a steady cam shot, but it's right on the zombie's shoulder. They're like as they're running, it's kind of like like when you got like a chest mounted GoPro or something. Yeah. It's kind of like you get that, but it's kind of like right on the shoulder of the zombie. It's really good.
Yeah, this is probably shot of the movie for me.
Yeah, I think it's shot of the movie, but I think it stands up there with loads of stuff from the original as well because it feels like a continuation of that sort of vibe. I wonder if they shot this
really strong, and I'd imagine. I don't think they did do this. I'd have to look at the marketing, but you could just, if you wanted to get people in, show this 5 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
And then say it's all film of this.
There's a whole bloody film of this. You won't believe it. Robert Carlyle's in it.
But this scene ends with Robert Carlyle, one of the people that's escaped into the barn, has got himself to a little boat and is setting it going. Feel kind of bad for this guy because he's got the plan.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, just set this boat going. And before you know it, Robert Carlyle turns up, rocks the boat. The guy tumbles off and gets got.
He does try and help him, though. He does say. He didn't try and help his wife, but he tries to help this fella.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to have a mate, wouldn't it? But he gets bitten, turns feral, but he boots him off, and then it just ends with Robert Carlyle speedboating off, like, whew. It's like the guy, in the Tiger King, got away with it.
Got away with it, yeah. Oh shit.
That's a jet ski, not a speedboat.
Yeah, it is. It's like an adrenaline fueled scene, I think at the end of it, you kind of feel out of breath as well, where you're like, oh, bloody hell, finally.
Because he's running bloody fast.
It's because he's absolutely sprinting. You'd be knackered, though, wouldn't you? You would be knackered. Yeah.
Then we get a little bit of, not narration, it's like on-screen text saying, right, like you said, Ben, from the first infections, 28 days later, country was quarantined. Nah, no good. 5 weeks later, they've all
died of starvation.
Not enough food in their bellies. They're gone.
No, this is another weird thing, right? So this is another weird thing, and we need to kind of discuss this. They don't eat people, but they do bite, but not very often. Like I don't think we see many bites at all in the first film, and in this one we do see a couple of bites. That it kind of tends to be pin down and vomit the blood, thumbs in the eyes, job that happens a lot, and other times just bludgeon to death. the biting doesn't seem to happen all that often. So that's another thing that sets it apart from traditional zombie films. And yeah, they definitely don't eat people.
The vomiting and the blood is one thing on this one. Like, you get a little bit of inconsistency with people who sustain injuries that would have killed them, but then coming back as, because obviously they're not they're not zombies, they are infected people. So you have to functionally still be alive.
Yeah. But then again,
there's bits later on with like people who are cut asunder, like that are still wriggling about on the floor and have big holes blown in them.
But again, is it like the adrenaline thing? Like the adrenaline from the rage virus is causing them to have these kind of freaky...
no pain at least.
Yeah, no pain. So they're continuing to move, I guess, in a way. Maybe it activates something like, when like there's been a car crash, your kid's trapped under that car. Suddenly you're like, phantom adrenaline.
The power of 10 tigers, like the Phantom.
Bloody power of 10 tigers here, mate. So yeah, there's obviously that, and this is always a kind of thing that I've kind of thought with zombies, right? Is sometimes people get bitten or they get attacked by like a group of zombies, but then you see them come back as a zombie as well. But I'm like, with traditional zombies, they wouldn't stop eating, would they? They'd just eat that person until they were dead. So why would they necessarily be able to come back as a zombie as well?
Yeah.
Surely it would the only people who could turn into zombies would be someone who's been bitten and then they've managed to get away.
Yeah.
Then turn.
Yeah, like that does break down a lot, but then that's how the infection stuff spreads. Same as in zombie movies, right? Like if they were just eating people rather than just having a bite, then it would be.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe they're like they have a couple of bites and then they go, you know what, I am full. I'm not just gonna sit here and eat the old bloody body. That'd be nuts. Or I'm gonna pace
maybe
myself.
Zombies are like buffet eaters. They want a little bit of everything. They don't want to sit and have a full meal. It's like when you go to a Jimmy Spices or another like round the world cuisine place, because kind of want a bit of everything. I don't want a full plate of just a meal.
Oh yeah. And but then you see people with some mad stuff going on, like a curry and like a roast dinner on the same plate.
Yeah.
No.
Because they don't want to go up twice.
No, I can't be dealing with that.
I'm trying to think of what the worst combination you could have is.
Well, I guess like a dessert and I don't know, some of curry and ice cream.
Full English breakfast and like some sushi.
Full English breakfast. I think curry in anything is is the perfect scenario because curry in itself is pretty intense. A vindaloo.
Curry and a little bit of vindaloo and a little bit of frozen yogurt would be nice after a vindaloo.
Yeah, it would.
Oh, maybe I'm being unfair.
Yeah,
maybe there's lots of good combinations
with a burger in the middle. All right, there we go. So yeah, we get all these little details which say 5 weeks after they die of starvation, then like a little while later, they start to like all traces of the rage virus are gone from the UK, and now what they're doing is trying to move back in some parts of the population from refugee camps into like this quarantine zone, which is right in the center of London.
Well, the Isle of Dogs, central London.
That's it. So
which for some reason they've depressingly renamed. Like, what's it called? Like District 1. you know what? It's already called the Isle of Dogs.
Yeah.
Just call it. Our base of operations is the Isle of Dogs, rather than we have depressingly named this District 1 to make it feel like a sanitized, horrible place to be.
American troops coming in as well, which sticking their oar in. But yeah, they've come in. I guess we're supposed to believe that the UK military has been depleted.
NATO forces take control of Britain.
Okay.
So
I've got you.
So they're part of that. Maybe they're going, "Oh, give us a hand, will you?
Give us a bloody hand, yeah."
You'd have to assume that there would be, because there's no sign of there being any type of British government in there. You would assume if they got some kids out that there would be some semblance of government that would have a handle in it as well.
Yeah, it is true. But I think that's the thing. I think there's so many more stories to tell from the first 28 days of this. Like a 28 months or a 28 years later story, great. But there are so many more stories to tell within 28 days later because we only saw it essentially from one person or one small group's point of view. And only London as well. Like we could have seen it everywhere else. I want to see someone in Sunderland. Why are you, man? Bloody infected.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, there's lots of stuff you could do within 28 days later that just be all right, be quite nice, interesting.
It'd be lovely. Okay,
but yeah, depressing. District 1, formerly the Isle of Dogs, and we see there's a train coming in, and bless them, they are trying to make it nice. The military are saying, "Oh, tell you what, there's hot and cold running water. There's electricity 24 hours a day. There's even a pub."
Oh my God, I do hate that moment, because it's like, what I hate about that is everyone's little reaction to it. They all go, "There's a bloody pub here as well." I'll tell you what, I was worried until they said they got the Queen's Head open. They got what you got on tap there? John Smith's? What you got? They all have a little giggle, and even a pub, because we know how much you British folk love your pubs. That's the way they. You guys love your pubs.
Yeah, they love them.
When anyone American says pub or pint, it does always make me feel a bit strange.
So what?
Yeah.
So we see on this train Tammy and Andy.
Yeah.
Little boy and older girl.
Their surnames of the actors are Muggleton and Poots.
They sound like Muggleton and Poots again. Cartoon animals.
Oh yeah. How old?
Yeah,
so Imogen Poots has obviously been in plenty of things, but how old is she supposed to be in this? Like just a teenager? Because
I'd assume like 16, 17 maybe.
Yeah. I don't know why, because in a way, I got the vibe from her. When you get the vibe sometimes that she's someone a bit older playing someone younger. Yeah. I mean, from watching The Last Crusade recently, River Phoenix, I was like, how old is he when he's supposed to be 13-year-old Indiana Jones? 19 he was. So I kind of got that vibe from her. But still, the little kid, Mackintosh Muggleton, pretty good.
Not been in anything else. That was his one and only film role.
Yeah, I like it.
To be fair, he might have been in TV or something, but I'm only looking at films.
Yeah, I like how they say he's been at a refugee camp in Spain and he's come back with a bloody Real Madrid shirt on, hasn't he? He's like, you never guess where I've been. Where have you been? I'll be to Spain, mate. I'll speak the language now. I'll speak the language, and I've got a lovely Real Madrid.
Buenos dias, it'd say.
Buenos dias, he'd say. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, they come back and they're reunited with their dad, Don. And this is kind of odd because obviously they know that their mum died, and we've heard, and they've obviously spoken to Don to organize them returning, and he's obviously broken the news to them that Alice died, and obviously told them some details, but not necessarily how she died, because when they meet up with him, and he's got like a role within the Isle of Dogs or District 1 where he's like got access to various things. He's got like a little key card which opens various things. Is he like a
what? Chekhov's access all that? He's a custodian, but he's not
Chekhov's
a cleaner. But
access all areas, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that helps it. I've just had to look it up quickly, Ben. If I was being very rude looking down, I was working out how old Imogen Poots was. So she was born in 1989. Which means she was 18 when the film came out. So she's probably about 17 when they made it.
Yeah, that kind of makes about sense. That works, doesn't it? I don't know. I just kind of thought maybe she was older playing someone a bit younger. I kind of like the character stuff they do with her when they go back to their house and they go, she listened to all these punk bands, No Effects and all that. Look at that. She's well into it.
But yeah, the reason they go to the house, of course, is we should talk about the scene where Robert Carlyle takes his first step towards being a baddie by doing some lies. So yeah, it's really nice that he's come back. He's got his Real Madrid shirt. So, we stay here. I've got this. I've got Chekhov's access all area pass. Look at this. Makes a point of going where Poots says, "Oh, so you're a janitor," and he presses the emergency stop on the door and then puts it back on. So yeah,
I run the place, all right. Not just a janitor. I also can override the emergency door as well. Sounds like something a janitor would be given the access to. Yeah, no, I'm someone else, aren't I?
So then they go in and they say, right, tell us what you know about. Well, I feel this was a conversation you might have had some sort of correspondence over the phone or by letter to say, it's just your dad that's alive.
Maybe to given, you go, look, I'm really sorry, but we did lose her. I'll explain everything when I see you. All right, I'll rather tell you in person.
But they can't wait for it. It's like Christmas morning. They're like, tell us what happened to Mum then.
Tell us what bloody happened to Mum then. You better everything you say better pass the cut the mustard with me, because otherwise I'm gonna be fuming.
Yeah, I think he could have gone into the problem with Robert Carlyle here is that he tries to give too much detail in his lie rather than just going, yeah, she died. There was nothing I could have done about it.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday afternoon at 4:34 p.m. and she was wearing her favorite white cardigan.
And she was talking about you actually when it happened, saying that basically as long as you'd be okay, she'd be happy to go and die as long as you were fine. So in many ways, that's fine. And then tells the story about the little boy, and then he like goes, we got separated and there was nothing I could have done. And she died, saw her die in front of me, actually. Yeah, I saw the light leave her eyes. She was definitely dead.
Yeah.
When you could have just told the truth and said, we got separated in a moment of panic when we were running through this house. I looked around and I saw her get like tackled away by infected people. Like, so she's gone.
Mm.
Little does he know, less than 24 hours later, he's going to be proven a liar.
Yeah.
Because
they're like, your wife's still alive. Are you happy about that news? Yeah. Of course. Why wouldn't I be? I'm over the moon about that news.
Yeah. He's not had a problem. He's had the guilt about it, but he's not told a lie about it until today.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, you know, oh, what's that? You've got tickets for something last minute. You really want to go? Yeah, but there's no time to book a time off work. You're gonna have to call in sick, and then call in sick, go back the next day, and then actually get ill.
And then actually go back next day wearing like a t-shirt of the gig you went to,
and then be like, while you sat there working, stomach starts. Oh no, I'm actually getting sick.
Gutted. It's one of those things. I reckon he's been acting out in his head for ages. He's like, right, I'll tell this lie, and it won't matter because she's definitely dead. There's no way she's alive. So this lie will never come back to haunt me or bite me ever.
He's been doing it like around the thing. That's how he's got this access all areas pass. They've said, right, we're going to give you this pass that allows you to access some areas. And he'd be like, my wife, who I saw die, actually said if she had one wish left for me, it was that I'd be able to access all of the areas. So like, if it was your wife's dying wish, I mean, who am I to keep that?
I watched her die, right? Not only was it a dying witch, but then I had to watch her die. And as she was dying, she shouted out A.
Yeah, AAA, please.
A, which I think was access all areas. All right.
Yeah, that's what. When he's going down the Queen's End pub. Oh.
There's one pub as well. It's gonna be absolutely rammed.
There's one pub in this whole district, and someone else who's been served before him at the bar has got the last packet of scampi fries. It'd be like,
I ain't had scampi fries in 28 weeks, mate.
Oh, it's just that my wife, who I she always said that she said to me, Don, you survived this, and then for me, have some scampi fries in the Queen's Head on Tuesday, the 13th of September.
He's just dining out on it. He's dining out.
Yeah,
on it.
The guy's, take him. Take
him. He's basically at this point, he's told everybody in District 1 about his wife. So he's thinking, I'm going to be humiliated if she turns up alive. Humiliated. I won't be able to show my face in the Queen's Head ever again.
So he goes to sleep thinking that, whereas Andy has a prophetic nightmare about seeing his mom pull her face off.
It is pretty horrible, that nightmare. I think it's just like the audio that goes alongside it. It's kind of a bit screamy and screechy. That kind of made me go,
do you reckon that the filmmakers had, like, in the effects they'd booked, like the special effects team were like, right, for the price you're paying, you've got these effects, and I will throw in a face pull off moment.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't really fit narratively. Can we?
Well, you decide what you want to do with it, all right? You decide what you want to do with it.
Yeah. If you want it... On the last day, they thought, fuck it, put it in a dream.
Slam it in a dream. Everyone loves a dream.
So he has a nightmare about a mum pulling her face off, and he wakes up and goes to see Tammy and says, I'm worried I'm going to forget what she looks like. And she says, I assumed, just a bit of lovely reassurance, don't worry. But
I'll
the
draw you a
thing
picture.
she's not telling that. She's actually talking about tomorrow. Let's sneak out from under the observation of the American military quite easily, and then just go
Luckily,
and
the
get a
only
picture from the
person on
house.
watch will be Jeremy Renner, and he just likes to laugh. To be fair, so you go and he go, "Where are you guys going, then, you little cheeky scamps?"
Yeah, and he like phones it. He does phone it in and goes, "Oh, some some right cheeky bleeders have literally solid snaked their way past. Like they've
Yeah.
jumped over a bridge and gone like the outside of the bridge,
Whee!
scuttling along."
Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
cheeky.
So they've
So they
snuck
basically
out.
said they're going to go back to their former home, which luckily is in, well, I was going to say in walking distance, but they do get themselves a little moped as well. They want to return to their former home where they're going to collect like photographs, but also it looks like they want to collect some
No effects albums
no effects
and
albums, some personal belongings. Because I'm assuming when they got evacuated, they had to leave like within minutes, so they didn't get the chance to pick up many things. They got no pants that fit.
but he grown kids those ages. They'll be growth spurts. At least Andy.
That's true. So I don't know. This is like the some of the best like abandoned street footage of London we get. Obviously, we get the is it Tower Bridge? Is it Tower Bridge?
Yeah, they go across Tower Bridge. They go into the pizzeria, like just an empty
Yeah. Oh,
pizzeria with the dead bones in there.
dead bones to get the keys for a moped. I'll tell you
Oh, and
what though.
he's full of bugs, isn't he?
Yeah, he's full of bugs. If it happened in
Not
20,
got enough spiders there.
yeah, if it happened in 2023, there's bloody delivery drivers everywhere. So
Yeah.
you would have found a moped easily, easily. But so yeah, so they go back to the house, which is in, I don't know, like when they went back to Jim's house in the first film. Now I know that his mum and dad had like taken their own lives in bed, and then obviously said, "We pray you don't wake up," because Jim was in a coma. And I think that's really effective. But I really got that, like, oh yeah, this house has been left alone for bloody ages.
They've just
Where
left in a hurry.
just left in a hurry. Whereas with this one, I don't know if I entirely got it. Not until we go up into the attic. Is it like an attic room? It isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go up into an attic room. So they go and they get in the No Effects albums and they're doing all those things.
Having a
And
go, having a go on the
Andy's
trampoline.
he's gone for a go on the trampoline. He's
What was with the transition?
like,
What was with the transition between the scene of this? Did you notice it? For the trampoline, it was weird. I can't remember what happened. I think
yeah.
someone closed something, and as they closed it, like feet landed on the trampoline. So it was like it was just a weird choice of
Just
cut to make.
yeah, he's bouncing up on the trampoline. There's one weirder cut, Ben. We'll come to it.
Okay.
It's very brief when Idris Elba's in 24. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, what when it goes? Yeah, that one. Yeah, the sort of wipe cut. Yeah, that was weird.
that keeps him on screen.
That was odd.
Yeah. So Andy's doing a bit of trampolining, and then he just said, "This film is also beset with people who don't answer when you call them."
Oh god, yeah, that's annoying, isn't it?
He's like, Tammy, Tammy. Fucking not calling him, he can come here. So he goes up to the loft and there's loads of maggoty tins up there that he sees. Someone's been living up there. The rest of the house has been fairly untouched. But it looks like someone's been living up there. Someone who hasn't taken the bloody time to just clean up. There's been no zombies there for 28, well, 5 weeks after the
event. Are we
event.
supposed to think that she's kind of like not mentally all there at this moment? She's like
let's
delirious.
Be fair. She is poorly.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go in there and pokes the little head out there. It's the mom who we saw get got.
So it's kind of mad to think that I do enjoy the sort of mystery surrounding this, like how she's made it back to the home, because obviously she is infected, but she's asymptomatic, so she's not like gone full rage. Maybe a bit ragey because she like hugs.
Because she does hugs that are too tight now, right?
Yeah, she's like hugging her son. Oh my god, I can't believe it! You're here, squeezing him. He's like, "You're hurting me," and he runs away. But yeah, she's obviously she can communicate. She's kind of conscious to a degree.
Well, you say that she doesn't do it that well because so they run out of the house and there's army men there. For some reason, they were not able to beat them to the place with a helicopter. So they've turned up now. The
Or he
kids aren't
says,
really in trouble.
no, because Doyle says, "We've got a couple of stray dogs." And then the helicopter pilot says, "Dogs, eh?" And he goes, "No, well, actually, puppies." I would like to have what if the helicopter pilot was confused this whole time and thought he was actually looking for puppies. I can't see anybody puppies. There's two kids here, but I don't know what they're doing.
Wasting helicopter petrol, sending me out looking for. Because that's what they've told them. They have to. That's why people aren't allowed out, right? Because there's feral dogs and rats everywhere.
Oh yeah, is that the reason they say it? That's terrifying, isn't it?
And they also point out in this as well, well, it doesn't cross to other species, just people.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because only the ape in the original doesn't have the same rage virus as they do. It's just like still just an angry monkey. He's not as bad.
Yeah, it just gets into human blood. It obviously goes a bit.
Yeah, so they've got them, and I should say we've had a couple of scenes with the soldiers already joking about, and Jeremy Renner scaring his mate, just like the triple jump scare.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, all right, mate. All right, you got me the first time. Yeah. What's that? Twice. Yeah, twice. Fall on you, fall on me. Yeah, fall me twice. Yeah. Well, 3 times. That's too much. Take your job really seriously, for fuck's sake.
Well, actually, to be fair, he should take his job seriously because I'm pretty sure if you're going to be up all night in the helicopter, you're on a night shift. You probably slept during the day. But he's like, well, nothing to do now but kick back and sleep in this helicopter.
Yeah. But again, this is the thing. They obviously all think, and the general consensus amongst the military is like, look, there's going to be no action here because the rage virus is dead. There's no way it can come back. No one survived. And I guess you would believe it to a degree until there's like this anomaly, which is a person with asymptomatic. Yeah.
Yeah, and they take about the kids have been put in quarantine. I guess they would. They're put in like a perspex box where the dad completely like so Donnie turns up and he's basically like, right, what were you thinking running off out there? But unfortunately his tenuous grasp on power in this situation is completely Imogen Poots turns around and goes, "You said Mom was bloody dead," and he's like,
she's actually alive. Yeah, because when they tell her, they go, "We found your kids," and he goes, "Oh yeah, thank God, thanks for that, cheers, brilliant." And we find your wife. What? Excuse me? No, that's it. I'm out. He runs off again.
Gets back in his speedboat. Oh, shit.
I gotta get out of here again. Jesus Christ, she's following me everywhere. I actually didn't even like her.
Blazing it up the Thames.
I liked her before, but then when we were in an apocalypse together, I thought she's actually a dick. So I'm not interested in being around.
She didn't even offer me the last bit of tomatoes.
No interest. But that's the thing. This is kind of odd as well. We're led to believe that they have got a good relationship before that. If there was like a bit of a doubt, like because they were, despite the fact there's a apocalypse in the farmhouse, they're having a bit of a kiss and a cuddle. Clearly, still got a little bit of affection between them going on. If there was a bit of tension between them, then maybe we could believe more that he's left her because he's had a guts full.
Yeah, because he's.
But the fact that he's like still claiming to like love her and everything just shows that just makes him seem like just a coward, just a yellow-bellied, lily-livered coward.
Or maybe it's just to show. Maybe that flashback shows that what he bloody loves is smooching.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen you.
Yes. Am I interrupting something? Yeah, you are actually. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, this kiss that I was doing. If you don't mind.
So they do tests on Alice, don't they? They do the classic get her naked and spray her with a pressure washer, okay? Just get her nice and clean.
That's the worst. You think they could explain? So right, it is important that we decontaminate you now. So it's gonna be a cold spray, I'm afraid. Brace yourself. But no, it just looks like she's being manhandled, having her face pushed into some perspex while they squirt her with a hose.
Yeah, it's pretty
like washing the dog.
It's pretty unfair. And yeah, they do the tests, and that is when Scarlett, played by Rose Byrne, she's like a medical officer. She works out that she's an asymptomatic carrier of the rage virus. And I think she's like keen to. We got to do more tests. We could be able to work out a cure. But I'm like,
she might be a cure.
It's gone. It's pretty much gone. Apart from this person.
Idris Elba's like, fuck it. You can you can do tests on a corpse.
Yeah, I mean,
hate to say it.
Yeah, he's right. I hate to say it as well, but he is right.
He's the bloody general. Follow his orders immediately. If you had a bit more respect for the chain of command here.
But insanely, when Don was given an access all areas pass, that included
military
hospitals. He could anywhere. He can go anywhere. The general's personal toilet. This card will open that, even if he's in there. Even if he's in there pinching a loaf right now.
Access all areas, literally everywhere.
It's because he's humiliated. He's like, right, that's it. I'll go and tell her. I'll go and tell her. Just that I didn't mean to get it bad. Because if the lads down the Queen's Head see me with you, they'll think I'm a right mug.
Right. When we get over this and you come to the pub, can you tell a few people that it was your last wish that I have that bag of scampi fries?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you have that bag of scampi fries. I did actually. Yeah. Thanks.
It's how lies catch up with you. As an aside here, my favorite stories from one of my friends about his son when he was much younger at school, telling lies. Apparently, once he was picking him up from school one day at primary school, and he came on. No, it wasn't him actually. It was maybe it was his wife picking their son up. But either way, he came storming out to his mum and said, "Right, if anyone asks, my dad is Ultron and he can lift up our house."
Jesus,
it's as strong as Ultron that can lift
of all the lies to tell. Where have you even tried to lift up your house from? One of the corners?
It'd break. You wouldn't just lift up whole.
It'll break, yeah. Come on now. Tell him much.
Unless you live in a caravan, maybe you could pick that up safely.
Yeah, exactly.
But so he's gone to see his wife to get her to buy into this stuff. The access, and unfortunately, not only does he open the doors, but all of the guards are on predictable patrol routes. They're just going up and down, so he can right, their back's turned. I'll go through
up and down, and when they get to the top, they're like, You quickly sneak past, and that's easy. This is level one.
Comes past in like a cardboard box. So yeah,
Metal Gear Solid level 1.
There is no one watching this highly infectious, only living carrier of the rage virus in existence as far as we're aware. No one's watching them 24 hours a day. No one's executed the general's orders to just
it's pretty lax, isn't it? It is pretty lax. It's unbelievable, but I think we always think it's unbelievable, then we realize people in these positions are incompetent. Not all of them, but often these things do happen.
That's true. So Robert Carlyle's able to walk in and he goes, "I really did think you were dead." And it's weird because his wife has been fairly uncommunicative because she only managed to shout and say that she wants to see her children. So maybe she's been... It could be the trauma from having been on her own for, half a year-ish.
Yeah. I just want to see my children and squeeze them hard.
Yeah. Big hugs. So she comes close and he gives her a snog. And then obviously the saliva rage virus transfers and it installs itself real quick. Good acting from Robert Carlyle here. He's slamming himself about. He's real physical.
Are we meant to think that Alice has done this on purpose? Like she knew it was going to happen because she's kind of got a little bit of a wry smile on her face. Like she wants revenge on him for abandoning her. But she's tied to the bloody table. It immediately backfires. You're tied to the table. Yeah, so he gets a bit vomity. Not vomity, like salivy, spitty. Because it's like rabies, but
he's flobbing all over the place. And then he gets up like bloody hell, and then maybe it's because he's trapped in a room with just one person at this point. Because obviously, again, this is the thing I point so from a biological point of view, she is infected. So
so
if you're saying that the rage virus, if you're saying that the rage virus is smart enough for it to only compel its victims to attack people that don't have the rage virus, it would recognize her. But
because do you remember when Brad Pitt injects himself with that thing at the end of World War Z and they all just run past him?
oh, he temporarily gives himself every disease in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, so it's different, isn't it? So he doesn't inject himself with. Yeah, that's right. So they understand that he's sick and they don't go for him.
Yeah,
Because
they find like infection, right? It's a bit like how that woman from Species didn't want to shag the guy who is got diabetes or something.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it but that doesn't work in this because maybe it's because she's the only thing in the room and he's had a guts, or maybe it's because they wanted to do a thumbs in the eyes number.
Oh
But he
yeah.
basically thumps shit out of her and kills her.
He thumps shit out of her, gives her the old eye thumbs in the eyes trick, which really doesn't make sense that he would do that because that was a Cillian Murphy move when he was
Yeah, in
not
fact, so
infected.
that's a move, right?
That's a human move. That's not like a. It's clear. Clearly, they've just gone right. The thumbs in the eyes was great. We've got to get that in a few times in this film because everyone loves it. But it's not even as effective. This I don't think the effect of the thumbs in the eyes in this one doesn't look anywhere near as brutal. In 28 Days Later, it proper looks like they're in there.
Yeah. But either way, he does that, and it is a gruesome scene.
Mm.
And then we get a quick flash of basically he's used Chekhov's AAA pass to I'm assuming, is it just on his belt and all of the door locks are
Yeah, again, so
waist height?
I don't mean to bring Metal Gear Solid into it again, but doesn't that work somehow? Like when he's just got the card
Yeah.
on his person, it just lets him through the doors.
Yeah, it's got like the level 6 key card. So every time he walks up to a door, it automatically opens, and it's just loads of little shots of him thumping various soldiers because no one with a machine gun looked up a
No,
corridor and went, "Who's that
no,
approaching me?"
didn't hear him coming. But that's the thing. He's a bit more tactful. This Robert Carlyle, isn't he? He managed to avoid some fire bombs. He's a bit creepy. Like he creeps around, stalking people. It's a
Yeah,
serious wronging.
yeah, he is. He's special infected.
So
So
he goes on a rampage, and essentially, Infection Mark II begins, but obviously only in District 1, but still. Scarlet manages to. Well, basically, while this is all going, they lock a whole group of people in like a underground sort of area. Is that kind of what it
an
is?
underground sort of area where there are other ways in.
Yeah, and they go, "Oh, don't lock us in here. Well, just shut the doors. Don't lock us in." He's like, "Nah, precautions, mate. We're taking precautions now. We didn't take precautions before, but now we're taking precautions." Um, yeah, and then during this like rapid rage infection sequence that happens, Robert Carlyle ends up in this room, and I think this is pretty cool because it's very claustrophobic. It's dark. You know, people are get. It's not just him running wild because he infects people pretty quickly, and then there's like more than one in there, and that is when Andy manages to get up in the crawl space, not crawl
Yeah,
space,
I'd have just stayed there if I was Andy. Be
air
like,
vents.
oh,
Oh yeah,
thank
100%.
goodness.
I'd be like, this is brilliant. This is the best place I could be. But no.
But no, he comes back out, and this is the point where we've had General Stone has sent the orders. Hey, at this point, we're just containing people. Only shoot the infected,
Yeah.
and they're finding it hard.
Yeah.
And then just as the point Andy comes out, um, this is where we've had the other great screen transition because we've gone to General Stone, Idris Elba, a few times,
Yeah.
where he's giving the orders, and we're seeing all the snipers on the various buildings take in shots and so on. Um, and then he gets his 24 screen wipe where
Oh, it's mad.
Idris is all the way to one side of the screen, like looking concerned. It's almost as if you can imagine, like, what's happening in that area now? And then it scrolls across from the side, and we see basically people breaking through doors and getting out of that room because they have only just padlocked it
Yeah.
shut.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so all this is happening. Andy has come out, and this is when Idris Elba, General Stone, having had his screen wipe moment, has decided that all targets are now viable. You could shoot everyone. I don't know. Maybe I'd have gone for that a little bit sooner. It was pretty chaotic to begin with, but at that point, this is where Jeremy Renner, Doyle himself, decides once he's got the little boy in his sights, he thinks, nah,
Nah, I'm not gonna
can't
kill
do
that little
it.
boy. I'm not gonna
So
kill. I can't kill Mackintosh Muggleton. I never would.
no. So he decides
he was
against
great in
it.
Harry Potter.
But he doesn't decide to just not shoot the little boy and, do that. He thinks, not only that, I'm just going to walk off I'm going to walk off the roof of this building. I'm just going to go down to the bit. We should say that Andy has somehow got separated from his sister and the doctor, Scarlet, who got them out of their cube. Sorry, we missed that little bit there. So they were in quarantine, and one of the scientists that was looking after them, they were being guarded, unlike the infectious woman. So he leaves the room, says, "I'll be right back," comes back in a rage-infected state, but Rose Byrne blows him away. So she has them, but they got separated, and this is where it all basically comes together. So unable to shoot a little boy, Doyle, Jeremy Renner, leaves his post, basically. Doesn't just not shoot a kid. He just goes, no, fuck it, actually. I'm not going to do anything.
Fuck it, I'm not going to shoot a kid. And I'm done shooting everyone.
So he heads off. Andy is attracted by some people, say, hey, come in here. And they've got a little safe haven that they're hiding in.
That's kind of weird, isn't it? That's like, come over here. We got a whole pallet full of Coca-Cola. That's literally what's going on in there.
We're hiding in this warehouse. Yeah. Tammy and Scarlet are in there, so they're reunited. They're all reunited, and they go, "Oh, what should we do? Should we go out in the morning?" Jeremy Renner, who's also just sneaked in through the back door or something like that, says,
"Yeah,
nah,
now you gotta go.
You should go now because snipers will find it harder to shoot you in the night."
And this is the stuff where obviously all of the lights have gone off for some reason because it's like dark. But it's shot in such a way where obviously we still need to see. So it just looks very strange, doesn't it? These scenes.
Yeah. It's weirdly graded. But yeah, so basically Jeremy Renner has basically become a rogue survivor now as well. He's going, just throw in with these people that are being killed.
Yeah, that's literally it. But I just feel like there needs to be someone, like we need Idris in the control room or something, like making this stuff happen. And then if he is going to go full villain, then we'll see him eventually get got as well. But we don't. He kind of just completely vanishes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get it because it's not meant to be that you assume that the implications of this film is that the UK can't be infected again because the only people that are there are the ones that are in this refugee camp. So there are no stakes that the country's going to be ruined again because it's not unruined yet. So the infected that aren't destroyed in this event will basically just die out again at the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's true actually. They could just essentially if they just escape, everybody who's left in District 1, they'll just put it down to, oh, fuck that up, didn't we, lads? Jesus.
Wait another 5 weeks from all to starve.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're pulling out, but they're now shooting everyone. So there's a little bit where they run across. Again, this feels like a bit of an unconnected scene where basically they say they're gonna wait until morning, but it is pretty light immediately. It feels almost like and they're being shot by snipers already, but not great snipers, not like Jeremy Renner. These snipers are dog shit.
There's one. So I think he says something like one of them's not a marksman or he's spooked or something, doesn't he? So he's like,
so he's not a marksman, he's spooked, and he tries to encourage this guy. I'm not sure we get a name, just like man,
just a bloody man, isn't it? It's just that man who somehow survives through like a few different sequences where I thought, okay, he's gonna be gone now. He's definitely gone now.
So man is there, and he goes, "Buddy, run out there, will you, man? Just serpentine across this thing, and the sniper won't get you."
I would never believe that, or I feel like, running a zigzag, you'll be all right. He's never going to catch you.
But how big should my zigs and zags be?
Yeah, I just anticipate the zag.
If you weave too much,
yep.
Well, that guy isn't a marksman, Ben. Not like you. He's not played Space Invaders. He's not going to shoot where he's going to be. He only shoots where he is.
I've played enough Days Gone, right, where I've got the old bloody horde coming towards me, and if one's zigzagging towards me, I'll anticipate the zigzag and shoot him. All right, because I'm a legend, and
just shoot in the middle, he's going to zig or zag.
Yeah, right, exactly. And even in I've had no military training, but I reckon I could hold my. I couldn't. I'd be the first one to die, wouldn't I? Let's be honest.
You've got a sniper rifle in this scenario. You're doing all right. You're doing something right.
Doing fine, yeah.
You're
Good.
very least on a roof. So that while that man's buddy getting chopsy about it, saying, "Oh, I gotta go," and then little Andy goes, "Fuck it, I'll go. I've got my new trainers out of this box when I went back to my house."
Lil
So
Andy.
he goes for it. He's serpentining around. Jeremy Renner has taken a couple of steps away as Duel. So not half an hour ago, he was on the roof saying, "I'm not happy about having this kid in my sights," to stepping away from his job to now, I'm going to murder another soldier.
Yeah, I know it is kind of crazy, isn't it? But maybe he's literally just thinking, I'm fighting for my life here. They're going to kill me regardless, so I might as well kill them first.
He's only fighting for his life because he chose to go down there a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
but he's like, right. So he watches where the sniper shoots and just blows him away. And then they're about to go when his old mate phones him on the helicopter and says, "Even though you scared me 3 times earlier, I'm going to give you a heads up that they're about to firebomb the entire Isle of Dogs. So you've
they're about to firebomb the entire Isle of Dogs." And I'll be honest with you, I've never seen CGI fire look as terrifying as this. This is mad. All right, you better get out of there.
Sentient fire, like the fire that's generated by the lasers from the Independence Day aliens. Exactly. Only a dog jumping into a doorway could escape.
That's pretty much what Robert Carlyle does. He's the dog in the doorway when he's just like hiding, looking at the fire, like behind the wall or something.
Yeah. So they're about to firebomb the whole place in about 5 minutes. They all just start legging it to get out of the zone. Again, the US military have not had any other use during this code red situation. No missions to give this helicopter pilot.
Yeah. So he's loving it, really.
He's a line manager, mate.
He's loving it, really. He's like, finally, I've some real stuff. And I could just save the people, but I'm actually only really interested in saving my mate.
So he's flying off and he goes, "Oh, it's going to be firebombed," and so it is. Like literally, but before that happens, is this a vision? Do you think, Ben, or is this thing? So after Andy has done his serpentine, he sees Robert Carlyle, like his dad, zombie dad, standing there.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy Renner leans down next to him and he's gone, like Jason Bourne.
Because, I don't know what we're supposed to think, really, because really, everything we've learned from the Rage virus so far, he should just make a beeline for them and try and kill them.
Yeah,
but
the Rage virus people shouldn't have a plan, should they? But he's nemesis, I guess.
Or do a little bit of scaring and go, I'll scare him a little bit, but then I'll come back and get him a little bit later. Yeah, that'll be worth it.
Yeah, so Robert Carlyle avoids the fire, as do only just our guys. They're literally running out a corridor, and it's like minimum safe distance 10, 9, 8, and they just the fire stops.
Yeah, we just about made that. Lucky us.
So they get out of there and they get out of off the Isle of Dogs, and they go to a lovely fun fair. But also the infected.
I tell you what, they linger on this fun fair. Well, this what's it called? Merry-go-round thing. They linger. They got all the shots. They got there's like shots of royalty and little paintings on there.
Little Prince Charles there.
It's like they've got access to this and they've gone, right, we've got to really make the most of this and show everybody that we're in a lovely, life goes on, merry-go-rounds still exist no matter what. Yeah, we see that.
Do you think any of the pictured royals got out of that situation?
I don't know, but apparently there's another piece of trivia for you now you said that. Initially, before, when they're first talking about a sequel, they wanted to do 29 days later, possibly using the same characters from the first one, and their idea to be getting away, obviously, because they were going to be saved, weren't they, at the end. Then, when they were thinking about doing a film set within 28 weeks later, it was going to focus on an SAS team heading into London to retrieve either the Prime Minister or the Queen. But then they were like, look, we want Robert Carlyle in this. We can't cast him as Prime Minister or the Queen. So we'll do something else completely.
Okay. I would have quite liked that.
Yeah.
Surely they would have got the Prime Minister or Queen out less than 28 days later.
Yeah. Exactly.
28 hours later. Now.
The Queen.
Maybe this is another maybe this is another pitch episode, Ben. We'll have to work on this for Patreon.
Yeah, what would we do?
Our 28 something later pitch. Don't give away any of that gold. Get thinking about it. We'll do it.
I will.
So, have you played? It was a Wii U game originally, but it's available on other consoles now. Zombie U, the like a roguelite zombie game.
I played it a little bit. That's in London as well, isn't it?
Get to go and see what the Queen's up to there. I think there's like Buckingham Palace guards. I don't know if you see the Queen, but
because the cover is like a Buckingham Palace guard, right?
Yeah.
I played it a bit, but I think it was one of those where I just had a little dabble. Didn't get. I think
the weapons break, don't they? So I'm like, no. I ain't doing Tears of the Kingdom for this, guys. I'm not doing it for you, Zombie U. So they escape the fire zone. They have a lovely time at the theme park, and Jeremy Renner's mate in the helicopter, old Link himself.
Yeah.
From The Matrix, not Legend of Zelda.
That two Legend of Zelda mentions within like 30 seconds.
Harold is on his way. So he's flying along. And then for some reason, all the conversations they've had.
He tells them they're infected of 50. He goes, they're 50 away from you. And they go like 50 minutes. And he goes 50 bloody seconds, mate.
Bloody go. Yeah, and they're legging it along. And then he arrives. Only at this point to realise, you never explained to me that
you had a load of fellas with you.
Had a fellas with you.
What bloody crew is
it? What,
it looks like
what do you think I went off the roof for?
It looks like a tiny helicopter as well, like where you couldn't really fit anyone in. But he basically says, I ain't taking you. But then the character named Man,
does a proper old lady from Speed, doesn't he?
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Yeah, well, just like goes, get me the hell out of here, leaping across the buses.
Yeah,
you idiot! Ruin it for everyone else now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I thought he was going to ruin it for everyone else. He's going to cause the helicopter to crash.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, though, for an unnamed character, now I've got some grip strength.
Grip strength is unbelievable. He's hanging on. Like, this is a bucking this is a bucking bull, whatever it was. It called?
Helicopter
scenario.
Like bucking bronco,
and then the pilot goes, "Fuck this, you know. I'm gonna turn these propellers directly at the infected." And you know what? This is kind of good. It feels like it's from another film. It feels like it's from, I don't know, Land of the Dead or Resident Evil. It doesn't necessarily feel like it fits well in this world, but the over the top mowing down of like dozens of infected with the
literally
propellers
just splatters more the now. I thought at this point that the man hanging on was going to be, because he gets absolutely caked in it.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to be infected, right?
It's like he's been on an episode of Get Your Own Back. He's
bloody gunged, mate. And is 100% convinced that some's got on his eyes or mouth, right?
Yeah, I thought someone would have gotten him, and then I thought he was going to take out the helicopter by climbing up with infected strength and getting him. But no, what happens is that he's just cut a swathe through these people, and then he just spins him off onto the floor.
Yeah, and it is brutal. Like, this is a fairly good, like, sure, it's heavily CGI, but the cuts are good enough where it looks decent enough. Body parts flying everywhere, blood and guts and viscera.
Yeah, it's good. If you were the man if you were our beloved character Man, would you try your best to die when you fall in another helicopter so you can't get got by the infected?
I don't know. What would you do? How would you try your best to die? Full head first.
You try and pivot towards your head.
Or like try and lift yourself up to get my head in the propeller, for God's sake.
Yeah. Try and get in that that little back propeller. Try and like thrust yourself into that to try and get got. Yeah.
So, yeah, and after that he flies off, and then he says, "Right, meet me at Wembley Stadium." He calls it something else, doesn't he? Meet me at Wembley Stadium. Elton John's playing his final gig of his UK tour right now. I know it's a bit weird, but you know he's trying something new. Get yourself there, get rid of everyone else. But at this point, because Man is dead, and so Rose Byrne is military personnel.
Yeah,
Doyle is military personnel. It's just two kids they got with them. So the helicopter pilot Flynn is just like, get rid of everyone else you got with you. What, two kids?
Yeah, surely. Yeah, because surely Rose Byrne would be authorized to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And if she's like the
a man is
chief
gone.
she's like the chief medical officer. She is basically Sir Chris Whitty.
Is he a sir? Is Chris
I
Whitty
don't
a
know.
sir?
I imagine
You added
so.
that. You've added that.
Yeah, so she is basically Chris Whitty, and she's saying this kid's really important because he's probably the key to immunity because
Oh
she
yeah.
knows that he's got the
So literally,
heterochromia.
everyone there is of interest. I mean, I guess not the sister, but you kind of got to bring her because man is now dead.
Yeah, his main problem was with man.
A man is dead. So for God's sake, Flynn, sort it out, will you? You just killed all the infected. Just calm down and land elsewhere.
Well, there's still a few more because they're still running off.
Yeah,
He's like, no, sorry, I can't do that helicopter thing I've just done again.
Yeah, no, again, that's too risky. I mean,
yeah,
incredibly risky.
So he can't do that again.
So
he's like, right, sort of like I'm off to Wembley.
There's like a slow-mo moment of them all running for the infected now, where we see like Rose Byrne doing her best limp acting, and she's running in slow motion.
Poorly leg.
Oh yeah, because she got like a flesh wound, didn't she? She got like shot by the.
She got sniped ever so shortly.
Yeah. So yeah, but then what happens is the military like drop nerve gas on the area to kill the infected, to which, as you know, a Volvo V70, and yes, it is a Volvo V70 because it says it here.
Don't believe that that's in the wiki.
It is in the wiki. Honestly, they break into an abandoned Volvo V70. As you know, they're vacuum sealed. I mean, no, they do.
Only if you close the vents.
Oh yeah, that's right. They close the vents and they cover up their.
They put the t-shirts like they're like apparently, deadly nerve gas, no more invasive than farts. Because if you put your t-shirt up over your mouth and nose,
mate. That's how it works. How you get away from it. That's how everyone. Loads of people could have survived that.
Yeah. So yeah, they all get in the car, but they're only like feet in front of the infected as they get there. And
this part with Doyle like sacrificing himself feels unnecessary because it's one of those moments in film or in TV shows where someone sacrifices himself. You're like, surely he could have just got away. It's like Clark Kent's dad in bloody.
Sorry, so I am to die.
So well, no, you can't. Even though there's a load of carnage going around, it's a bloody hurricane, tornado, whatever. You can't save me because everyone will know that you're Superman. So just let me die. Yes, Dad, I will. This is the same. We're like, oh, just American soldiers with flamethrowers coming near. Surely, has the gas dispersed enough? Because he can get out and cover his mouth. They all just need to run away. But no, he commits to pushing the car so they can push start it, and they flamethrower him to death.
Yeah.
They don't look at him pushing a car in military gear and think, hang on a minute. Was that one of our lot? No, burn him. And he doesn't stop, drop, and roll. He just stops and drops. There's no roll involved.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because all the infected that are banging on. That's a good scene, though. I'll say that. When all the infected are banging on the car trying to get in, that'd be scary. And then they all get nerve gassed.
Yeah, definitely. I found it scary.
But yeah, it's his turn to tell a lie, but not a bad lie like Bad Dad Don. He goes, "You get to Wembley, I'll meet you there." And it's like, "You sure?" Because it feels like you're going outside to blatantly get burned up. He says, well, I'll meet you there.
I'll meet you there, mate. It's fine. Did he get burned? Do you reckon he'll still meet us there? Yeah. I mean, maybe.
He did promise.
Never know.
Yeah.
He did promise. So yeah.
He gets burned up, but they escape. They don't drive all the way there, though, do they? They drive to the nearest underground station.
Yeah, I don't know if the roads are blocked or something, but they get to the nearest underground station, and this is a good sort of like Last of Us feeling moment when they go into London Underground. Last of Us feel, but also like Buffalo Bill, Silence of the Lambs,
End of Rec,
Night Vision stuff. Yeah, End of Rec stuff.
Did this come out before or after Rec?
I think Rec came out in 2007 as well. You know, you might want to double check that.
Have a quick look.
But yeah, maybe it's just timeless, isn't it? The old Night Vision zombie stuff. But this is another thing. Like Jeremy Renner's character got offed pretty simply, and I feel like Rose Byrne's character, after all she's done, gets offed pretty easily as well. And that was kind of cool because Don is like stalking them in the underground who knows
That's
how
it. This is the nemesis again.
This is
Reg was
how did he bloody
2008.
get there? How on earth did he get there?
So he has
been following him the whole time.
Not even. He must have somehow got ahead because we're to believe that Don escaped from the fire.
Yeah.
Thought, well, rather than
he escaped from the bloody the gas as well.
Yeah, escape from the gas rather than go after them when they just straight line it to the merry-go-round place. He'd gone, I'm going to get a bloody head of them. They're going to have to go to the underground sooner or later. If I know my kids.
I know my kids. They're never.
But the underground bit's really good. So Byrne is able to see through the rifle sight, the night vision scope that down the stairs. And there's obviously, because loads of infected died down there.
They're very much like the game Outlast as well, isn't it? Where you can only use your infrared thing to see.
Yeah, so she's there going, right, go down. She gives them some poor instructions. Say, go forward, go forward. Stop immediately.
Yeah, it's I mean, she'd have me on edge. I feel like I'd be like, for God's sake,
stop shouting. Do my best. So she basically fluffs the instructions. They both fall down the stairs.
Yeah. Humiliating.
Andy, for the second, gets his sister back at the worst possible time. Goes, now I'm not going to come when you call me. She's going to fucking wander off.
Yeah.
So he wanders off. Scarlett's looking for him. Rose, Byrne, so Scarlett and Tammy are both looking for him. But who they find is Robert Carlyle, and he doesn't infect Scarlett, or he just bashes her in with the rifle.
Yeah, he just bashes her in with the rifle, and we see the POV from the rifle sight just smashing her head in. And I was kind of a bit like, oh, maybe she'll survive this. Nope. And that is when he runs and takes down Andy as well, and he's on top of him. And again, there's a couple of times where Andy's got some blood on his face or something, but I guess we're supposed to believe that he's infected as well, based on the way
he's not before, but he is now, right?
Oh, right. Is it okay? Is that right?
Because he looks at Andy for a minute, and he does pause.
He bites him now, doesn't he? He bites him.
Maybe he's got a little bit of familiarity. Maybe it's a Birkin moment, then a Resident Evil parallel yet again. He recognizes family, maybe because he is a special kind of zombie. It has more thought behind it.
Yeah, but I'm still going to bite the hell out of you.
But he does bite him. But Tammy turns up, shoots up Robert Carlyle, Donnie. So he is dead. Andy,
I'm glad she doesn't. She doesn't hesitate.
She does hesitate with Andy though, because then he goes, "No!" He just runs off. I guess assuming that he thinks he's going to get raged out any second, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But it seems it happens quicker than that anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, but Tammy catches up with him, has a look in his eye, and thinks, "No, you have got a red eye now, but you find it doesn't go into the iris, so you're safe."
You're absolutely safe, mate. You'll be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it.
You're fine. I mean, I'd be careful hugging him and kissing him.
Oh yeah, I won't kiss him.
Yeah, especially he's covered in blood. So she says, "No, you're not one of them. Let's go." They wander off. They get to Wembley.
Bit overgrown. Wembley, the pitch, the groundsman haven't been keeping up with it. It's a bit overgrown.
Yeah. Not even got the lines painted on.
Not even got the lines painted on. And Flynn's just waiting there with his gun, and he says, "Where's Doyle? Where's Doyle?" And they go, "It's just us."
Just us. And he goes, "Oh well, I did say leave the civilians."
So what happens? What makes them now decide to fly across the channel to France?
I mean, Doyle told Flynn to do that earlier. It's like, don't take them to the base, take them to France.
Oh yeah, just taking
those kids have had a bad time. They deserve a trip to Euro Disney.
They really do, and one of them's definitely not infected, so don't worry. Actually, you weren't there when that happened, was he?
So they take them over, and then we just off they go, and then we get another. We see them go over the White Cliffs of Dover. This telltale sign that they're leaving England
they're definitely
via
leaving
the East Coast,
and they're going
heading
straight to Paris. All right, there ain't no way that they're going anywhere else in France. Calais, absolutely not. Straight to Paris, because
and also France, apparently no air traffic control. You can just land where you want and let some kids out.
Because then it says 28 days later again from this moment, and then there's a French voice or someone with a French accent speaking English requesting help. Heard it, and it's like on a radio, isn't it? And then we see this final shot.
Of course, everyone radioing around in France would definitely radio
in English.
Maybe maybe they are speaking French, but it's been done a low style where if you speak English in French accent, we're to assume that you're speaking French.
Definitely. I think that sounds about right. I can't imagine it being anything else.
There's infected coming out of the metro near to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, and that's the final shot. So I guess that was a moment for us to go, oh my God, it's got out of England. What next? 28 months later, isn't it? It's going to be in France or in the world, the whole of Europe. Who knows?
We touched on it earlier on. What do you think of this end scene? Would you have included it? Is the film better for it, or would you have left it?
I don't think it's better for it. I don't think anything there isn't much about this ending necessarily that I think is better for it. I think it kind of loses all momentum a little while ago. I don't know. I think like the whole final maybe like 20 minutes, the underground sequence is okay, but I think it kind of loses momentum, and this kind of escape finally just doesn't make a world of sense. It just feels like it's kind of only there to show us that the rage virus is getting out of the UK. So it's just like a heavy-handed plot device, really, isn't it?
I feel you could have resequenced it a bit. You could have had a different confrontation with Dad Nemesis.
Yeah.
And then ended with Jeremy Renner getting burned up, and
it needed some other sort of big bad. Robert Carlyle was fine, but I think we needed some sort of military presence that was kind of like dictating these things happening. Like he was almost like he was going after them, like a man possessed. If it was Idris Elba,
like saying that no one's allowed to, no
one's allowed to leave. So we're gonna firebomb them. We're gonna poison gas them. We're gonna do all this. Like maybe he was involved when the flamethrowers. I don't know. It just felt like it kind of lost a bit of momentum.
Yeah, true.
There we go then. That is 28 weeks later. Did you say you had a little bit of
I've got a special trivia game for you today, Ben. I'm not a new format point for you where I'm merging trivia and a little bit of name game.
Oh wow.
For little mini quiz for you. Let's take some tangents from 28 weeks later. You ready?
Exciting.
5 questions. Tell you what, we'll use Horror Hangout grade it. We're building this format point as we go, everybody. So much like how we grade the films, will you, Ben, get an E to an A depending on how many of these you get?
Okay.
I guess you get
like I'm bloody at school
F,
again.
An F if you get none. E, D, C. All right, here we go. You ready?
Okay.
So here is your first question. The film we've watched today is, of course, 28 weeks later. But how many days is that?
Oh my God. How many days is it? It is 154.
196. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know what my brain was doing. I panicked. Maths.
28 weeks later, aka 196 days later.
Oh. Is it all maths?
So in the film, it's not all maths. So in the film, of course, we see Robert Carlyle infected as Donnie, as an access all areas.
Donnie.
super infected with immense rage. Now, in another one of his appearances, he doesn't feel any such problems, where he is an emotionless, pain-free assassin. But in what film would he play that?
An emotionless, pain-free assassin.
An emotionless assassin who has no pain or fear because of a brain injury.
Is it that? Oh God! Is it the one with Samuel L. Jackson in it as well?
It's not. I'll give you a clue. It's a Bond film.
Oh God! Yeah, The World Is Not Enough.
The World Is Not Enough, in which he plays. I'll give you a bonus point if you remember the character's name.
It's Russian, right?
I don't know.
No. Is his name? Has he got like one of those silly names like a Bond villain has?
He's got a one name, but he's not like Diamond Face or
No, I don't remember.
Mr. Shush.
Baldy. He's bald in it, right?
His name's Renard.
Ah, right, yeah. Forgot about
But
that. I
I'll
forgot.
give you a point. I'll give you a point for the
You're
world's not
kind.
enough.
You're kind.
Um, Another star of the film is currently back in cinemas as we can speak. At the time of recording, one of the characters is back in in a film that's doing very well at the moment. Do you know who that is and what the film is?
Rose Byrne in Insidious the Red Door.
Yeah, Rose Byrne in Insidious the Red Door right
She's really
now.
back. She's back. Back in action.
Speaking of the Red Door, though, Ben,
Oh, they're all linked.
Imogen Poots, good old Poots,
Pootsmeister.
also from 28 Weeks Later, of course. She went on to have a career, including she's not in the Red Door, but she is in 2 other horror movies that have a color in the title. What are they?
Oh God. She's in other horror movies, is she?
2 other horror movies that have a color in the title.
Oh. Um. Oh God. I can only think of. See, I can't picture in anything else. Not in any other horror movies, at least. The Red Door. The Red Door. White Noise. Is she in that?
She's not in White Noise. Good guess though.
And
Do you give up?
Can you give me a clue on that one, or is that going to be too easy? If you give me the colors.
One of them is a remake of a seasonal film.
Oh, Black Christmas.
Black Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one, I mean, if we hadn't seen that Paris scene, she could have carried on from it after she went over to Europe. It's set in Europe.
Oh, is it set in France?
No, I think it's set in Germany.
Germany.
I think it's Germany. I'd have to look that up. They don't quote me on it.
Is it a hostel?
No,
No?
she's
Okay.
she's in Green Room.
Oh God, I forgot about the color thing. Oh God, I completely forgot about the color thing. In that round of questioning, I was like thinking, as above, so below, Hostel 2, the color thing set me off. Ah,
Yeah, so
good.
Imogen Poots, the Pootmeister General, is also in Black Christmas and Green Room.
Because the Green Room is one of those where, like, in my head, it's not horror, but I know it gets
it's
sort
pretty
of
brutal.
listed as horror. It's definitely a horror film, but I think in my head it's not connected. Yeah, there we go.
And then finally for your horror questions, 28 weeks is the gestation period. Most common is the average gestation period of what several species of what group of animals?
Oh my God. Reptiles?
Obviously mammals.
Oh, right.
So it's gestation period, but like what kind
reptiles.
of group of animals? In the same way that there are lots of types of dog.
Whales?
It's not whales.
I'm awful
I
at
think
this.
it's 28 days related almost. It's monkeys. Lots of monkeys have
I said reptiles.
gestation period of
what
28
types of
weeks.
mammals? My favorite type of mammal is a reptile.
Yeah, the reptiles. So Ben, I'll tell you what, I'll give you
give me half a point. You give me half a point.
I'll give you I'll give you one more. I'll give you a name game to finish off to see if we can up your score.
Yeah.
So
is it just one?
Just the one name game
for
this week, unless you've got any. But after in several degrees, with several decrees, an owner of a once popular social media platform, slowly but surely, in less than 30 degrees, really ruins the platform.
28 tweets later.
28 tweets later. Very good.
I like it.
I will give you, Ben, let me top that up for you. So F-E-D-C.
Maybe if we're doing A to E on name game, maybe just give me an out of 10 for that.
Oh,
6, 5.
I've only counted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
3, 4.
Oh, it sounds worse. C sounds C sounds all right. 4 out of 10 sounds bad.
Yeah. It wasn't out of 10 though, so that's why. So
And
yeah, you
well,
got a C grade. You would have passed that.
I would have
You wouldn't have
passed.
to.
And that's
Yeah,
it. Minimum.
yeah.
I've
You
only got
passed
one name.
that.
I've got one name game for you, Andy. I can't compare with that. But I've given you few bits of trivia if you're out. I'll give you one name game to end it with. So 6 months after the 6 months after a virus is inflicted on the entire population of Great Britain, the U.S. Army helps to secure a small area of London for the survivors of an avian flu.
Is it also 28 tweets later?
It's not. It's not.
28 beaks later.
Correct. 28 beaks later. That's it. Oh, Jesus. Big old fly just landed on the way. Landed on
Very
me.
good.
Very, very good. Okay, so now we got to rate the film A to E, rate good or rate bad. Pluses and minuses allowed. What are you saying with this? Considering I think I definitely did A plus for the original, and I think you did an A or maybe A plus. I'm not sure. Where do you think this one compares?
I like it. There's some really good standout moments of it. I like the tension when they're going down the stairs at the very end. The cold open is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it suffers in comparison to the strength of the original. And if I'm being really brutal, is 28 Days Later a film that didn't necessarily need a sequel? Maybe. I would have taken side stories other than, I would have taken side stories perhaps over this kind of piece. And the other pieces I spoke to earlier as well about the cultural change and that lack of the character connections because it's in a more compressed time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still got some pieces to recommend it for. It's just very difficult to compare favorably to what I would say is one of the best horror movies of all time when you are drawing from that and looking to be an extension of it.
Mm-hmm.
But still good. I am going to give this a C plus.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to go, and that's a good score, Ben.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. So I think initially I was thinking this film has always been, I would say, like a B minus for me. Like I still enjoy it. I still like the film. And I've seen it a handful of times since, but I don't know, this viewing in particular, maybe because I was looking at it through more of a critical lens, I did sort of realize what didn't work for me so much. Which is why I probably would have to go down to a C minus. I think it's definitely gone down a bit for me on this repeat.
You got all the way down to C minus.
Oh no, sorry. C plus.
C plus.
Sorry. Yeah, so I'm getting ahead of myself. I think C plus. If I go for a B, it does. I think it just plays out like the greatest hits of 28 Days Later without getting it right at all. I also think it as a concept isn't fleshed out enough. As a concept, it feels kind of vague. Like, oh, we're gonna get the US military or NATO to kind of like open this quarantine zone, and then that's that. I do like the idea of someone being asymptomatic, sort of still passing on the virus. I think that's interesting. Don't know how I feel about Robert Carlyle knocking about as some sort of super infected, and I just think it kind of just fizzles out. That's what I think is the worst thing about it, is it just fizzles out. It doesn't have a antagonist, a decent enough antagonist, and not all the films need to have that. However, Christopher Eccleston and his crew of like soldiers are like really great antagonists in that final act of 28 Days Later. That's what sets it apart as well. This one, it just fizzles out. Like, oh, faceless military are trying to kill these survivors for some reason, but then one of the military guys has changed his mind and it'll take you to France. It just fizzles out. So I think a C plus is fair, considering 28 Days Later is one of my favorite films and is up there as like the perfect example of like a zombie or a zombie adjacent film, post-apocalyptic wasteland movie. So yeah, that's that. I think that's fair.
Good stuff, everybody. You know what, Ben? I'm going to throw it out here. We've said it before. A couple of conversations today have inspired me. I want to get back into this whole, maybe get some ideas together about doing some fun pitches. But I want to throw this out to the socials as well. Let us know, the socials that Ben will share in a moment, what you would do with a 28 whatever unit of time you'd like, sequel, prequel, side story. What would you be interested in seeing? Yeah, hit us up on there and share your ideas. Do you think this is a good idea? Would you see more? And most importantly, what would you do if you were in charge? You're given the keys to the 28 something's kingdom.
Keys to the bloody kingdom. What would you do?
What are you going to do?
A picture remake, picture sequel thing would be good. Let's get back to it. But regarding bonus content, I am actually, if I do see Insidious the Red Door this week, I'll do a bite-sized episode on that. Lovely. If not this week, then hopefully next. So keep an eye out for that. So thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to our current patrons, including John Crinnan, Ben Scaife, Stephen Christopher, Toby Miller, Lane Spencer, Ollie Child, Leslie Carlo, Julia Bilgren, Nick Spill, Troy Burst, Rosalind Harnies, and Pazuzu. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. Head over to the Facebook group Horror Hangout Board of Advisors for more. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're not on Threads yet. Maybe we will be. We'll see what happens. Let's see how these next few weeks pan out. If it just disappears
Threads,
into nothingness.
Blue Sky. What else is happening?
Blue Sky, Mastodon. Next week we'll be talking all about Hostel with returning guest Janine Pipe. So looking forward to that.
Me too. What a time. It's been a long time since I've seen Hostel then.
Yeah, me too. There we go. Thanks, Andy, for being a right horror dude.
Thanks to you, Ben, for being a right horror dude. And thanks to all the right horror dudes out there too. See you next time, everybody.
See you next time. Bye-bye now. Bye.